Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Reporting. Coming up on today's show, we got some major news coming after Raiders training camp practice, and we're going to go through and talk about all of the important things that happened at training camp practice today. I also want to talk about some of the big-time NFL news that ended up going down today, in case you did not see it. Also, training camp, winners and losers is something that we are going to discuss, and then a Vita Vea rumor you're going to want to see. All that is coming up here on the Raiders Report, presented by our good friends over at Prize Picks. Also, Megalodon Duck Race. What is a Megalodon Duck Race? I'll tell you here in a little bit. But to me, yes, we will talk about Raiders. Yes, I'm going to be answering a lot of questions. Hashtag Raiders Super Chat if you want to get up here on the program. But the big news that woke me up this morning, Bijan Robinson ended up signing a massive 3-year, $75 million extension, and I figured that I would show this on the program, not really because that this is going to impact the Raiders in any way, but I think it's the impact of running backs are becoming a focal point again for teams, and there's always what's known as a copycat league, and I do think that because running backs are starting to get more work is because you're starting to see a lot more teams go with nickel-based packages, which the Raiders have been doing a ton already in training camp. A lot of good stuff I'm hearing about Ashton Jeanty, and I wonder if Jeanty saw that today and went, man, could you imagine $25 million for me in a few seasons? It could happen. Also, wide receiver Zay Flowers reached an agreement today on a 4-year, $140 million extension with $108 million guaranteed. I saw this one and I thought that this one was a little bit of an overpay. I do think Zay Flowers is actually a really, really good receiver. I don't know if he's the best fit in Baltimore. We'll kind of see, what kind of ends up looking like this year. But to me, I wanted to bring this one up, because obviously a lot of wide receiver conversations have been happening around this Raiders team. And today, I tweeted out bright and early this morning, I kind of challenged this wide receiver room, and they were up for the challenge today, which is an awesome, awesome thing to hear. But number one wide receivers aren't really on the open market all that often. So for an organization that they got to look at themselves in the mirror and they can say, I'm excited about Trey Tucker. They can say, I'm excited about Jalen Nailor. But I do think that this organization has to look at themselves in the mirror and go, either we're not going to get a wide receiver one this year because there ain't no way there's really anybody available to you. But if you do get that guy, you got to make sure you keep him on the roster. And maybe the Raiders are looking at some money like this and going, yeah, we'll end up drafting one next season. So I wanted to be able to hit all y'all with my training camp practice takeaways. If you saw the video that I dropped on the Raiders Report probably about an hour ago, you're going to hear some of these things over again. But I know that not everybody can watch every video that we put out. So here are my top biggest training camp takeaways from today. Michael Mayer, he is okay. He busted up his nose yesterday. He was at practice today. He was in street clothes just hanging out. But to me, I think that this is important because for Michael Mayer, he is going to be a focal point of this offense. You're going to see a lot of two tight end sets. So when I saw Mayer not at practice today, I was kind of, I don't mean to say happy that he wasn't out there, but happy in the regard of it's training camp, and if Mayer's not out there, that means, hey, Trey Tucker, hey, Jalen Nailor, hey, Jack Bech, Malik Benson, Dante Thornton Jr., and this entire wide receiver room, you need to step up. And it sounds like that they stepped up. By far, your top two wide receivers have been Trey Tucker, Jalen Nailor. Nailor had 2 touchdown catches today from what I gather. Been by far your 2 best guys. Malik Benson's been the wide receiver. Are y'all still here? I hope that you can hear me. Give me a Y for yes. Give me an N for no. I saw that we lost internet connection there for a split second. Is it lagging? Yeah, we're lagging a little bit here, but I'm going to keep on going. I hope that you guys can hear me. Yes, I'm getting some Y's for yeses now. I know our internet, maybe just put in production, the internet's having some issues. But Malik Benson being the complement to Trey Tucker, to Jalen Nailor, I think the Raiders, you could see them using Malik maybe a little bit more in passing situations. Maybe they use Jack Bech. He did have a nice catch today, though he did get locked up a little bit against Jermod McCoy. But Jack Bech against the run, that could be something where the Raiders look at it, where it's like Mayer and Bowers, top 2 tight ends. Trey Tucker, Jalen Nailor, top 2 wide receivers. who's going to be that third guy? And I think that that's kind of the other question mark here for these receivers. Who's going to be that fifth target or third wide receiver? And depending on the situation, could depend who you see out there for the Silver and Black. Traden Stukes, he's okay. Everything's all right. They're asking him to do a lot. The reports haven't been super positive about him, but from everything I understand, the Raiders like where he's at right now. And then Greedy Vance. Watch out for Greedy Vance, man, to make this 53-man roster because of the amount of nickel that the Silver and Black are doing. I could see a player like UDFA Greedy Vance potentially making this squad. I do got to give a shout out to today's sponsor, PrizePicks, America's #1 sports pick app out there, and it's Tuesday, which means it's Taco Tuesday here on the Raiders Report. And I'm going to show you guys a lineup that is featuring some baseball picks today. But I'll just say it like this. Whether you're a baseball fan, whether you're a football fan, I just saw that Carson Beck is going to be going up against Kenny Pickett. So we get to watch our old quarterback in the Hall of Fame game on Thursday. Well, guess what? I'm going to be live for the Hall of Fame game on Thursday. And if you plan on watching that game with me, get a lineup in. Use code HMA, and if you win, you're going to be able to get $150 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. So the Taco Tuesday that I wanted to show all of y'all is I am 1 for my last 14 prize picks. That is a bad batting average if we're talking baseball. So I asked the guys at Chat Sports, somebody help me out for the love of God. This is the lineup they gave me, and there's a taco that is featured. If you're like, Mitch, what exactly is a taco? So on Tuesdays, PrizePicks is going to put out tacos. They are their player projections, and they're usually coming at a discount. If you see a taco on PrizePicks, add it to your lineup. Use code HMA, and if you win that first $5 lineup, you're going to get $150 in lineups to play with. That's code HMA. That link is going to be available to all y'all down in the comments, down in the description of today's show. But a major shout out to PrizePicks for hooking up Raider Nation and hooking up the Raiders Report and Chat Sports. All right, y'all, drop some names down below. Who is a Raiders training camp winner? I'm going to be giving some shout-outs. I hope that the internet is okay. I've heard from a few people that there is some issues. I know that we had 700 people watching, and now we're down to 230. So grade the internet connection. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know down below. But I want to know from all of y'all, who is a Raiders training camp winner that you have heard about so far where we stand right now? A, B, C, D, F, training camp winner. I would really like to know. Though, this has got to be a training camp winner. The first of the month of August. After this, I'm going to tell all of y'all the deals on today's show, and then I'm going to get into my Vita Vea rumor that you do need to see, and you need to make sure you're free this Friday. Arbor! Bang! The first bang of the month of August, and just like we did last month, whoever bangs the most this month, you're getting in my Raiders Report Fantasy Football League. Missed my Raider fam, was out for surgery, studying for exam for work, but here we are with a bang. Arbor, one of the guys that was with us on Locals, he's been an OG for a very long time. But overall, I hope that you're doing all right, bro. I mean, you never have to you didn't really apologize here, and I love that you missed hanging out with us. I always miss hanging out with all of y'all. You know, it's always cool during this season gets going, you start to see old names pop up, and I'm not saying you're an old name by any stretch, but May, June, July, I get it, man. There's the dog days of the off season, but once the season gets going, the fact that there's training camp football this Thursday, the fact that we are really getting closer and closer, the fact that a week from today, I'm going to be in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium at Raiders practice. I'm so flippin' excited for this offseason, and it's just always cool. The closer and closer we get, more and more people keep on rallying. But Arbor, shout out to you, brother. Reminder, y'all, if you want to get on the program, I know that not everybody knows what the Raiders Report is and how the Raiders Report gets down, but if you got a question, a comment that you want to see up here on the show, make sure that you use #Raiders, or you can super chat if you want to make a statement, if you want to ask me a question. If you do super, though, think of it like a Disney Disney Fast Pass, you get to the very front of the line. Every comment, I do my best to give you guys a shout out. If you enter in the duck race, which today we are going to do it a little bit differently, and that's only because I had some OGs reach out to me, and Arbra, maybe this one's even for you as well. So today's deals that we are doing on the program today, if you send in a $5 super chat, I'm going to give you one raffle ticket for a shot to get in my fantasy football league during the month of August. If you see some people that pull up to some shows, I'm going to be giving away some fantasy raffle tickets, and I want a real one to get in my fantasy league. $20 Venmo for a duck race. We usually do duck races at the end of live shows. However, I had an OG Raiders watcher reach out to me recently. It was like, hey, man, my schedule's super busy. I can't tune in on all the live shows. Is there a way I can do a duck race without joining the live show? So I said, all right, this is a show for the nation, made by the nation. We're going to do something I like to call a Megalodon duck race. I love Shark Week. I love dinosaurs. I love Megalodon. So what I figured I would do today is, hey, $20 Venmo to get in the duck race, and we're going to run one on Friday. So if you get in on Tuesday, and when we go live for Friday happy hour, we're going to take both of those live shows, we're going to combine them, and I want to make a gigantic Megalodon duck race. But you know what? I'm also going to add $100 of my own money already into the pot. So I'm looking down there now. It's a $20 Venmo for a shot to win, $110. I'm hoping that a bunch of people get in today. I'm hoping that a bunch of people throughout the entire week get in, and I hope that on Friday I give away over $1,000 on the Raiders Report. If you want a shot to win $1,000, add me as a friend on Venmo. Send in $20. The more people we get in, the more money we can give away on Friday. I'm really going to try it this week. If it works out well, maybe we'll do it. It should be noted, I will do a separate duck race on Thursday when I go live for the preseason game. I don't want to mix the real ones, Tuesday watchers, with we're going to get some more random watchers on Thursday, which is fine. But at the end of the day, I don't know, I want the real ones to win the duck races. That's how it goes. So $50 alley-oop wheel spin. If you want to get in the fantasy football league, I'll say it like this, by far the best deal that I have on the program today. And if you're trying to bang August, bang whoever bangs the most in August, right now Arbra's the only one out there dancing by himself. Shout out to a real one who's been around for a very, very long time. All right, y'all. I've been making you guys wait. I've been making all of y'all hang out here for a little bit. I did promise everybody that I would go live earlier today. I typically go live at 4 p.m. Eastern time on the Raiders Report, and I did. I said, hey, if anybody wants me to go live an extra hour earlier, I will do it. I received a Venmo, and it was an anonymous Venmo that they said, could you make it out to this guy? I think you guys are the most unbelievable Raiders community in all of the world. You guys do so much amazing shit. It really, truly makes me happy. To everybody that showed up last week that, showed a lot of love to Michael and the battle that he's going through. I've been talking to him, his dad, their family all weekend long. Michael's dad told me today that the doctors, he unfortunately had some chemo over the weekend, and he told the doctors and the nurses that he was on the Raiders Report, and he was talking about a Raider family. And hearing those conversations, man, I mean this, it does mean a lot to me. But then also the Venmo that I got, dude, this is really cool. It's from an anonymous person, and this one goes out to Brandon Jasper. Bang! I miss that guy, man. I miss the great tuna. I love Raider Nation. I rock with all of y'all, and we're building a beautiful, beautiful community here. So let's kind of go through, and let me give you the Vita Vea rumor that was given to me, and then I am going to get into what I'll consider all of the Raiders training camp news and notes that you need to know from today, and then we will get into the winners and losers. I do see some super chats flowing in right now. I will talk about all those supers here in just a moment. But believe me, guys, I miss Tuna too. Every time I yell bang for the great Brandon, I'm not going to lie, I got to fight back once in a while. All right, let's talk about Vita Vea, right? So I will say I've kind of been maybe one of the only guys really talking about Vita around Raider circles, and I get it. Some people I've earned their respect, some people I haven't. But I'm going to talk on this show when information is given to me, and I think people that truly watch this show know I talk about news, I talk about rumors, I talk about updates. I'm not putting shit out there just for the sake of it. I don't do clickbait. If you think I do clickbait, please block me before I block you. In terms of Vita Vea, so today the Chat Sports team, we had a source, and we were talking to that source, and basically they made it sound pretty clear, like Friday could be a big day for the Buccaneers and for Vita Vea. I'm not saying that the Raiders are going to make a trade for Vita. I'm not saying that anything could happen on Friday, but the source that we spoke to today at Chat Sports really made it an outline like Vita's team is kind of giving Tampa Bay a little bit of a deadline in terms of like, what the hell is going on? And I don't think that, I mean, a trade could happen on Friday. It very well likely could. But Vita wants a contract extension, okay? So the fact that Vea wants a contract extension, if he doesn't end up getting it, that's where, again, this is where dominoes are going to end up falling, and an issue could end up happening. The other part of the equation is, could Tampa Bay start to find Vea? Because after 2 weeks of training camp practice, this is where teams start to like, we need to know what we have going into the preseason. Hell, you kind of even heard like Rick Dennison, talk about it a little bit today when he was at the presser, like, yeah, we've had 2 padded practices, but I haven't really been able to get a true evaluation of my offensive line until the preseason. There's a lot of teams that are really viewing this Friday, based on the sources that we talked to, based on some of the things that have been reported out there, that Friday is kind of a big benchmark for a lot of teams of being like, with these type of Vita Vea situations. I also know in the 9+ years that I've covered the NFL, Friday can also be a day where, you see some big news happen because some people don't want the national media to cover it Saturday and Sunday, and maybe this could be one. But here's the note that I think is important. If Vita ends up missing training camp, he's right now sitting in. It's like, or holding in, I guess is the way to say it. And because he is holding in right now, there are no fines that are happening. However, Tampa Bay is very upset with Baker Mayfield, and they are upset with Vita Vea. All their beat reporters have kind of been saying that, they're a little bit disappointed on how those two guys have handled this offseason. All I know is this: if this thing kind of goes bad after Friday, and if you start seeing Tampa Bay start finding them, I just want that light bulb to go off in your head being like, man, are we getting closer and closer for some potential breaking news? But based on the sources close to Chat Sports, Friday will be a big day for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Vita Vea. Not saying that anything's going to happen, but I know this: I will be live on Friday. I planned on doing a happy hour on Friday. I am going to still run my happy hour the way that I usually run it. However, I might not go as much balls to the walls because I am going to prepare Friday for the just in case. And it might be a 5%, it might be a 10% chance, but I want all y'all to know out there, I am preparing for a wild day on Friday, and maybe it's Vita getting a contract extension. Again, like, I'm just telling you this, I'm preparing for a wild day on Friday. So y'all, tell me right now, make the call. Do the Raiders need to make a trade for Vita Vea? And I kind of love the timing of this question here, and that's simply because I have sat up here on this program, and I have said trade, trade, trade for Vita Vea. I've said it 100 times, and guess what? I'm still going to say that, yes, this is a deal that the Raiders need to make. The reason why I think that this is a much more fun conversation to have now is because Tonka Hemingway has emerged on this defense over the first 6 practices, and especially these last 2 once the pads have come on. Now, do I think Vita and Tonka play a similar position? No, I do not. And that's why I'm not really all that worried about it. You could still bring Vita in. You could put him on your nose, and then that's really going to help out a guy like Tonka Hemingway be even better of a 3 technique. So I'm seeing some people down below. Raider Nation 88 saying trade. 808 Tybo saying trade. Joke saying trade. Preston, I don't think it's going to happen. Preston, again, man, I don't know. I know the Raiders are interested. I believe that there's already a deal on the table, and I know that Via's interested in the silver and black, so it might be a wait-and-see type of play game, but I'm ready to wait and see, man. I'm excited, but I'll tell you this right now. Please, 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 be ready for a wild and crazy day on Friday. It's what we are kind of hearing here at Chat Sports. I got a few super chats rolling in here. Bo Mackey said, Mitch, get me one raffle ticket for that fantasy football league. Bo, I got you, my guy. I got you. What up, Roger Parker, Brian, Lance, I see ya. Hella hi, Javi, Sports Dude 270, Young. Trade. Let's go. Dark Side Nation, just wanted to say I love everyone here. Raider Nation for life. Dark Side Nation, Elite Beard. I appreciate that, man. Again, there's a lot of really, really amazing Raiders content creators out there. There are. I like to believe that we've inspired a lot of people to be like, you know what, I can do what that Mitchell Renz guy does. I can do what the Raiders Report does, and it's inspiring. So when people still pull up here every single day, I do, man. It means a lot to me. We have an awesome community. I can keep saying it over and over that we have an awesome community, but I do really think that you guys prove it. Arctic, how are we doing, Nation? I don't know if you changed your camera, but you're looking great, Mitch. Is the free safety battle one to watch? Well, if you do follow some of the things that are happening at Chat Sports, my typical studio is under construction. It's under construction. We are looking to make it bigger, better, and make more different styles of content here at Chat Sports. Again, I always tell you, none of the Venmos, none of the Super Chats, I promise you, I promise you, I promise you, they do not go in my pocket. They go and we make investments. So my studio is under construction right now. I have been in like 3 or 4 different studios, which I don't typically do, but this studio is lit much better than the last one I was in on Friday. So thank you, man, for looking out. Again, we got right now here in Dallas, Texas at Chat Sports, we got about 14 studios, probably close to like 11,000 square feet. And I'd like to think that we're going to almost double that here pretty soon. What up, Josh McDaniels? You son of a gun. Yo, sup, Pookie. Damn. Busy summer, but watching everything you put out. What's so crazy about this like whole Pookie thing, I don't know like how you started calling me this. I don't know like if there was like one show where I was really banged up where I said this, but the catcher on my baseball team is one of the best men in my wedding. His name's Dave Schneider, one of the greatest human beings on planet Earth. But he works at actually Invictus. He's one of the guys that makes Bryce Harper's bat for the Philadelphia Phillies, if there's any Phillies fans out there. But he used to call me Pookie. I don't know why. He used to call me Pookie. And then the other guys on my team, my other roommates, again, I was the smallest guy out of the roommates, but they used to call me Pooh Bear or Pookie. So I don't know how you got that one. It made me laugh. There is, though, a legitimate battle right now going on at free safety. I don't know if I answered that last question. But there is a legitimate battle at free safety right now with this Raiders team. I still want to see Trayden Stukes take a hold of that job. Isaiah's been getting most of the free safety work, but Stukes is, again, he's been struggling a little bit, but it just reminds me so much of like Trevon Merrick's rookie year of when you throw a lot at a guy, he's got to think for a split second. And when you think for a split second, you look slow. And I think right now Trayden's just trying to do the mental math a little bit. Who's been the most impressive and biggest letdown this offseason, player or coach? The most impressive, I will say, I guess I could say Brock, but we all knew what Brock Bowers was. But he's, I'm not kidding you. He's actually really been, that good, though. Max Crosby, I think, looks super, super impressive. My biggest letdown, I guess I'll say Besh and Dante. Besh had a much better day today. I'll kind of get into some of these winners and losers here in a little bit, but, I'm impressed. I've been impressed with this entire Raiders coaching staff. I just, when you hear guys talk about the different culture, I get it. Not everyone's going to believe me, and I'm going to tell you, hey, the culture's different. But when you hear Jeremy Chin, AJ Cole starting to say it, I hope people are like, all right, yeah, different culture. What up, Board Plays? Let's go out and trade for Vita Vea, Vegas. Let's frickin' go. See, the reason why I think that the idea of bringing in a guy like Vita is so important for this team. He's 31 years old. I think he's at least got 3 more really good years in the NFL left. So, Clint Kubiak, John Spytek, that timeline aligns. Also, Vita will make everybody else around him better. He will. And for a team that invested so much money on the defensive side of the football, whether that be in the draft, but especially in free agency, when you bring in somebody that's just that big of a human being and makes everybody else around you better, it just, to me, is an investment in everything that you already made a big investment in this offseason. Vita Vea on defense, to me, it's not apples to apples, but it's like Tyler Linderbaum at center. It's Linderbaum will make everybody else around him better. It's why the overpay I'm okay with. Vita Vea, even if you got to overpay a little bit for that trade, I think for where this team is at right now, it could really help us out. Though Quay Walker said today he thought that the Raiders are going to have a top 10 defense. Top 10 defense. Can you name, little trivia, can you name the last time the Raiders actually had a top 10 defense? Do not Google it. Not allowed to Google it. Can't Google it. Tell me the last time the Raiders had a top 10 defense. Micah, would you trade for, is this Marvin Harrison Jr.? Oh, man. I'll tell you what. It would be a fun conversation to have. I will tell you that right now. I was very high on Marvin Harrison Jr., much like a lot of people were. But if you haven't seen the reports, if you haven't seen the videos, if you haven't seen the discussion around it, this looks like a receiver that wants nothing to do with football. This looks like a kid that, I'm not going to lie, doesn't really like football that much. I don't think he's got good work ethic. He's got some drop problems. And watching him run routes, he looks slow. Like, watching him the other day run routes, it was he ran around, and then I believe it was Michael Wilson ran a route right after him. And what it reminded me of, and I feel bad for throwing this former Raider under the bus, but it's a video that popped up, I think it was like last offseason or 2 offseasons ago, where it was like Calvin Ridley ran a route, and then Zay Jones ended up running the route, and it just looked like 2 different speeds. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a young player that looks like he's just going with the motion. And he looks like a guy that's not going out and doing what is necessary. And I hate to say it, but he's talented. But if you don't work hard, that doesn't mean anything in the NFL. And that looks like a guy who's not working really hard. So if we can get him for a day 3 pick, I would entertain it. But I don't think that they're going to give up him for a day 3 pick. And, so there's better options than Marvin Harrison Jr. I guess I'll say it like that. What up, Sherlock? Raider Nation, number 1. Raider Nation is number 1. Raider Nation will always be number 1 in my heart. Can't walk. What's going on, man? Bro, got the gift card. Yes, I was literally, bro. Shout out to my guy Can't Walk. So in the month of July, every Tuesday show, we would give away a $150 gift card. We ended up giving away, it was like $600 in gift cards from Panda Sups. I was literally going to message you today. I was like, I want to make sure, because I know we were talking over the weekend, and I was like, I want to make sure my guy got it, because I messaged him today, and I said, hey, just want to make sure that, you sent the gift card. But Panda Sups, they just launched, they're not a sponsor on today's show, but I love Panda, so they just launched this like Dubai chocolate protein. I guess I just recently found out what Dubai chocolate is. It's very, very interesting to me. I've like been craving it all weekend, and I don't know if like something happened over the weekend where it's like promoting it, but I saw a bunch of places in Dallas promoting it. There's one spot that they were making like chocolate, Dubai chocolate crepes, and I wanted to go get one with Alex. This was like a few days ago, but they were hella expensive. So, dude, bottom line is this. I'm just super, super happy you're trying it. I've never had that one, so you got to let me know how good it is. But the Superfoods of the Greens I use every day. The Nootropics Focus, I think it's going to blow your mind how locked in that shit makes you. I just took a scoop of it before this show. I don't know if y'all could tell. I'm locked the F in. Rebel! Sauce Gardner overrated, but not Mahomes or Knicks. I do think Sauce Gardner is an overrated corner. I don't know if you're like asking me a question or making a statement. I do think Sauce is an overrated corner. Some people talk about him as being the best in the NFL. I don't even think he's even close in that conversation. I don't even think he's top 5, but yet he just got traded for 2 first-round picks last year. I should admit Sauce was my number 1 corner coming out of the NFL draft, but like that to me is still absolutely right. I wonder if his name was like, I don't know, Mitchell Gardner. I don't think he goes for 2 first-round picks. The Sauce definitely helps. I do think Bo Nix and Mahomes at times can be a little bit overrated. Any NFL player, though, can probably be a little bit overrated. Hell, I'm probably a little bit overrated, right? I'm sure there's people that are like, dude, that Mitchell Renz guy, overrated. Micah, shout out to you. Rebel, shout out to you. I believe we are all caught up. We got one more super chat to get to the 432 people here in the building right now. If you want to shout out on the Raiders Report, type me down below. And if you haven't already hit that like button, please make sure you do so. I'll tell you like this. If you don't hit the like button, you're probably a Chiefs fan. You're probably a Broncos fan. You're probably a Chargers fan. You're probably a 49ers fan. Hit that like button. We're here on the Raiders Report. I know I'm going to ask a lot of the nation every single day, and I know I do, right? I know that I ask you all to, hey, hit that subscribe button, join the Noti gang, but in my life, and I've done this my entire life, I think when you really meet good friends, I want you guys to ask me things, just like I'm going to ask you, because at the end of the day, if I feel like I can help you, and if you guys can help me, I think that's how a friendship works in the end of the day. Jersey Boy, just a hypothetical question. If the Raiders somehow got Vita and could could also get Diggs, would this be a playoff-bound team in your opinion? So you're saying we add Stephon Diggs and we add Vita Vea? I mean, here's the thing, and again, like I'm always going to be a hopeful Raider fan, but we could be a playoff team this season. Like, again, do I think we're going to make the playoffs right now as this roster is? I have no idea. We are an extremely tough division. We have a very, very tough schedule. But, like, I see you look at teams every single year, dude, and there are teams that make the switch, make the change. I think that we, without a doubt, are going to be a much better football team right away. If you told me Vita Vea is 100% healthy, 17 games, and honestly, Diggs is not an idiot, and we get a 17 games of Stephon Diggs, good football on the field, no drama off the field, let's go with a yeah. I do. Like, it might still come down to that quarterback play early on in the schedule. It's really, really difficult. Like people keep asking me, when do I think that Fernando Mendoza is going to play? And the hard part about that equation is like the Raiders' easier schedules those first 3 games. If the Raiders are like 0-3, I think the switch happens week 4 against the Kansas City Chiefs. But F it, man. I do think with Vita Vea and Stephon Diggs, why couldn't we be a playoff caliber team? I guess is my question. Like, I think our defense is going to be legit. I really do. And I think our ground game is going to be much more impressive than what people realize. And I think the brand of football that this Raiders team is going to play is going to be a tough brand of football to go up against in December and January. And you never know, man. Anything can happen once you get to that part of the season. Jersey Boy, shout out to you, man. I see Young Mayor 6587. What's going on? Hello from Australia, from Nicholas Graham. Lil Randy, what's up, dude? Zalesbo here in the building. What's up, Zalesbo? Joey Mata, I see you. Appreciate you. Kevin Rogers, Hill or Diggs? Tyreek Hill will never happen. Tyreek also doesn't have any power in his one leg. Suave, in my opinion, if someone like... Okay, I thought it was a W. It's definitely VV. I'm like, how did you make that W gigantic? VV, Vita Vea is available. We have to make the trade to do it right by Max and Coach Leonard if we truly believe in keeping them. So, like, here's the thing, dude. I agree with your logic of we should do it to help out Max, but we shouldn't do it if we truly believe in keeping them. Like, you make the move for Vita Vea because he makes you a better football team. If there's one thing that I want to do this year as a Raiders fan that I want to get away from, I got to stop, and we got to stop doing things like trade to do right by Max. No, it's to do right by the Raiders. This trade has nothing to do with Max Crosby. It should. I would rather the Raiders make the trade for Vita Vea to do right by Rob Leonard because Rob Leonard wants Vita Vea. I don't want to say I don't give a flying flip about what Max Crosby wants or does not want, but I kind of am at that point where, like, I don't really give a flying flip what he wants and what he doesn't want, and I don't think Max would get mad at me for saying that because I know that Max Crosby knows everything that happened this offseason. He is very happy to be a Raider. He wants to be a Raider for life, but we got to stop saying, like, the do right by Max Crosby. We got to take that out of our vocabulary. I mean, and maybe in years past because we knew he was by far our best defensive player, and he still is our best defensive player. But doing things for Max Crosby, that shit's got to sail. And I think that ship has already sailed. Obviously, it's already sailed. But, again, I'm not trying to say that being... Y'all see what I'm saying? I'm not trying to, like, get at you here, Suave, but reading that to me is just we as a fan base, we as an organization, got to stop saying do right by Max Crosby. Because if he is on the team, Max is going to just have a great year. He's already going to have a great year, but it's going to help him out a little bit more. Raiders need to make moves for the Raiders, not 98. Sean, I know it's still early, but Kubiak made it seem like Washington is far from being ready. How nervous are you about our RB2? I mean, I'll still say this. I've listened to a little bits of pieces of the presser today. I know that some people have been asking me, will I go live for pressers? Unfortunately, I have been told that I am not allowed until further notice. But at the same time, I haven't heard this. And when I say that, like, I'm not saying, like, Washington. I've heard good things about Mike Washington Jr. Like, I've heard that he's explosive. I heard that he's, like, showed some really good flashes. Now, I have to go watching the entire presser today of what Kubiak had to say, but I actually feel pretty good about our RB2 situation with Mike Washington Jr. Do I think that we need to add a veteran? Yes, I do. And maybe that's what you're talking about. Like Kubiak, based on the one thing that I heard today from Kubiak, was more like, if you're going to be a running back on this team, you need to play special teams. And I think that that's Kubiak just in his mind thinking, all right, we lost Chris Collier. That was a veteran on this team, it was for a running back spot. Veteran running back on this spot that we were really counting to play special teams. That's not going to be somebody that we really can have anymore. So because they brought in Kenny McIntosh, Daria Gumbawale, Miles Sanders, James Robinson, they brought those 4 players in. They brought 3 of them on August 1st. They brought the other one, it was Miles Sanders on July 27th. But I think that this team does want to add another veteran running back to that backfield. But I think that they do feel pretty good about Mike Washington Jr. The biggest concern with Mike Washington is the fumbles. Got to be able to hang on to the football. And I also wonder, maybe RB2 shouldn't be the way that you look at it. Maybe it's another running back on the team that they view as like a Raheem Mostert role. A guy that they believe in can help them out in the backfield, but also help them out in special teams. Because that, to me, right now is the one job that they're really, really looking for. I don't really think that they believe all that much in Laube. Sorry, I don't. Roman Hemby, I don't think that they view him as special teams, but he's a UDFA. Genty's going to be the main back. Mike Washington Jr., I don't think that they want to just throw him out there, kick returner, special teams, asking a lot for the rookie. I could see this team adding another running back. I do. But I'll tell you this, I've actually heard good things about Mike Washington Jr. I have. I've heard really, really good things. I've heard really good things about most of our rookies, quite frankly. I would say the only guy I haven't heard great things about is probably Brandon Cleveland. Again, I don't know if he's going to make the roster. Can't walk. Hall of Fame game. Scratching the football itch, finally. I mean, who do y'all have? I'm going to be live for this game. Do you think we have a way into? No? Is there a photo or anything for Hall of Fame game? Give me just about anything. Here's the cool part about this. I agree with you, Can't Walk, and for those of you that don't know, I'm going to be live for this game, and I plan on going live an hour before kickoff on Thursday. If you plan on pulling up and showing out and hanging out with me, let me know down below, but this is kind of fun because we get to see Kenny Pickett, and I know Pickett was only 1 year for the Raiders, but I don't know, Kenny Pickett going up against Carson Beck, the quarterback that lost to Fernando Mendoza in the national championship game. I'm kind of excited to watch it. Hell, I almost feel bad that I feel like I'm going to be rooting for Kenny Pickett again up against Carson Beck. I want to see points. I want to see some football being back in the action. We're going to have some beers, and if you're a football fan and you plan on watching this game, pull up to the Raiders Report. We're going to be watching this game because I agree with you. I can't wait to watch preseason Hall of Fame football. And if that's a weird statement to make, I'm happy to be the weirdo to make it. Garth Rader, what are your thoughts on Keon Coleman? And would you make a trade for him? Would you consider him a possible wide receiver 1? What would you give for a trade? So Garth, and to any Raider fan out there, if you ever have a question, right, the one thing I will always say is this. If you have a question in your mind, there's a good chance I've already made a video on it. And I've made few videos on Keon. I've also made multiple videos on what it could potentially cost in a trade. Now, these are older videos, but Garth, and to anybody out there, if you go on YouTube, go in the search bar, look up Keon Coleman Raiders Report, you're going to get some videos around it for this question a little bit more in depth. In terms of, do I think he can be a wide receiver 1? No, I do not. One of my buddies from high school works actually for the Buffalo Bills, and I spoke with him at the NFL Combine, and he kind of told me at the Combine, you see Keon flash some unbelievable times, and then there's other times where he's just lazy, doesn't show up, and he's not really what we're looking for. So I will say this. If Keon Coleman can't make it with Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills, after being a second-round pick, and they really, really tried to make it work for him, again, it's not a talent issue. He's got the talent. It's a want. It is a inconsistency, and I am concerned about Keon Coleman. I really am. I could see Keon Coleman's career very quickly turning into a Kelvin Benjamin, where they're maybe we just turn him into a tight end or some shit like that. But not interested in Keon. I would say the most I'd be willing to give up is a 6th round pick. We don't have a 7th, 6th round pick the Buffalo for Keon Coleman? Cool. Let's talk about it. They draft that guy, though, in the 2nd round. Roy, what up, Roy? Do you see Spytek signing a running back and wide receiver, or possibly just run with what we have? So Friday, from my understanding, is a very important day for a lot of NFL teams this Friday. Why? It's because you kind of get the full evaluation 2 training camp weeks before your first day of preseason. And if you do want to bring a player in for that preseason game, you got to get a few practices underneath his belt. So I do think that this Raiders team adds a running back. I actually think that we add a running back. It's probably more likely than us adding a wide receiver, though I could see both of those end up happening. Some injury news here, which around the Chargers. So according to Vincent Bonsignore, quarterback Justin Herbert briefly spoke with Rashawn Slater after he got out of the medical tent, and his indication was that Slater wanted to go back on the field. The Chargers kept him on the sideline. So Slater had an injury, one of their best offensive linemen. I know it's not Raiders news, but it kind of is, right? AFC West breakdown. I think if you see the Raiders make a move, I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later. And if they do end up making a move, it's probably going to be at the end of the week here just to see what we got. But there's also a part of me that, what if they just see what we have in that first preseason game? Because the second preseason game, in my mind, is the most important. So maybe that first one, you just roll with what you got. And if you don't like with what you got after that, then maybe you go to the open market. But I don't know if you've looked at the open market. There's not a lot out there as it stands right now. And that's just a cold, hard fact. Also a cold, hard fact, we are 3 likes away from crossing and getting to 200 likes on the video today. I am talking wide receivers. I saw that you were going to put it up. You can still put it up. To me, though, if you look at the receiver position, I will say these are the top 4 guys to think about. Though DeAndre Hopkins has been working as a coach this offseason, so I don't know how great a shape he is in. He's been working with some of the coaches, in New England? Georgia Tech. Okay, so Georgia Tech he's been working. Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen. Sorry, I said New England because I looked at Diggs' jersey. Brandon Cooks in there as well. These are all older veterans, but to me, I don't Diggs and Allen are the only ones that would really compete for a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 1 job. DeAndre and Cooks would be really more wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4s. But based on what we've been hearing about Malik Benson, I kind of want Malik just to be that wide receiver 3 this upcoming season. We got 450 people here in the building today, and a reminder out there, if you want to get in the duck race, it's a $20 Venmo. You would go home with $120 here on the show. Though it should be noted that I am going to do what I like to call a megalodon duck race. I've never done one of these before, and essentially what's going to happen is I'm going to run a duck race at the end of the program on Friday, and I say this simply because I've been getting asked by a lot of fans, hey, can't join the live show. I still want to get in the duck race. So I'm adding $100 to the race right off the jump, and if you can't join us live on Tuesday, and if you can't join us live on all of our shows, Tuesday, Friday, we're taking those 2 duck races, we're combining them together, and we're going to get a Megalodon duck race. If you don't know what Megalodon is, I'm a dinosaur guy. It was Shark Week last week. Look up Megalodon. What up, Raider Tone? Thoughts on a trade for wide receiver, Kayshon Boutte? I've talked about Kayshon Boutte before in multiple videos. Hell, you will find a video with Keon Coleman and Kayshon Boutte in the exact same video. But there have been some reports out there that apparently Boutte, the receiver from New England, he's open to getting traded after the Patriots made that deal for A.J. Brown. I believe Kayshon's 23, 24 years old. He's a pretty young player. Final year of his contract, so he wants a brand new deal. Possibly add AOC in a 3rd and the 4th round pick as a part of the trade package, if that's what it takes. I'm not giving up a 3rd or a 4th round pick, though, for Kayshon Boutte. To me, I don't want to have to give up that extra draft capital. I think he's a good receiver, but that's a wide receiver 3 on our team. I'm not giving up a 3rd or a 4th round pick for a wide receiver 3 on our team. I think Jalen Nailor and Trey Tucker are better fits in this Raiders offense at wide receiver than what Kayshon would be. So in that mindset, if we make a trade for Boutte, sure, let's go AOC and a 6th round pick for Kayshon. That's a trade that I would do in a heartbeat. Dark Side Nation, what's up, bro? Jahmyr Gibbs is in a contract issue, just saying. We ain't getting Gibbs, bro. No, I'll even say this. I don't want Jahmyr Gibbs. I have no interest in Jahmyr Gibbs. And Jahmyr is an unbelievably talented running back. And I don't even know if, that's what you're saying here. But, We have Ashton Genty on a rookie contract. I would much rather have Ashton Genty on a rookie contract over the next 2 years than having Jahmyr Gibbs on probably $25 million plus over the next 2 to 3 years. Is Gibbs a better running back than Genty right now? Yeah. But would we have that same exact statement if Gibbs was running behind this offensive line and if Genty was running behind that offensive line? Hell of a running back, but no, I don't know if that's what you're saying, but no. We're good. We're good with Genty. Can't walk. Superstitious. Will you eat some food every week to keep the win streak going? Are you asking me? Superstition. Will you eat the same food? Oh, are you all right, so this is kind of a fun question. All right, so let's just say Raiders win week 1 against the Miami Dolphins. Okay? We're 1-0. You had chicken wings for that game. Are you repeating that exact same meal for week 2? Because what's crazy is there are times where I do this type of stuff. There were times where I am superstitious when it comes to certain things. Like before I used to play baseball games, I would kind of eat the same things because I knew what my body could handle. But bro, do you guys remember when I wore that split jersey? It was number 57. I believe Wild One actually was the one that ended up winning it. It's either Scheffler or Wild One ended up winning it. And, I wore a lucky jersey because I felt like in that moment, I'll take all the good luck, all the good vibes I can possibly get for the Raiders. Sherlock said all week? Dude, that's crazy. All week? Are y'all superstitious? Give me a yes, give me a no. With certain things, I am. With other things, I'm not. I've learned over the years that I think it's hard to be superstitious about the Raiders, and I really just believe in, I am a believer in, and I will always be a believer in, when you put good energy out in the world, good stuff happens, and I'm just hoping that some of that energy turns into some Raiders dubs, man. I'm hoping that it turns into some Raiders dubs very, very soon. Give me a yes. Give me a no. Raider Nation 88 says no. Nathan Wolf's going to hit me with a yes. I got that jersey from Scheffler. Okay. I was going to say, Chef, I knew I either sent it to you or Wild One. But that was my good luck charm jersey for a while. I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious from CC Crash. It's a great reference. Phenomenal reference. Speaking of chicken wings from Born a Raider fan, Tuna's top 5 chicken wing flavors. All right, let's go. Barbecue, teriyaki something, Old Bay and honey. You ever have Old Bay and honey wings? Delicious. So see, I love Old Bay. So it's dusted Old Bay, and then it's honey on top. Throw them, they crisp up real nice. I love barbecue. I don't know. I'm probably, how about mango habanero, and then garlic parm is a good one. Garlic parm. Somebody said no tuna. It's not tuna. It's tuna clock. Top 5. Very different. Suave. Mitch, yes, the frustration in the response. I would compare you with Max. Do right by Max equals do right by Raiders. Do right by you equals do right by Chat Sports. Do right by Max equals do right by the Raiders. Do right by you equals do right by Chat Sports. I don't know if I get the reference. I'm not, Suave, I wasn't frustrated in your first super chat. I was frustrated in, it's not just, I wasn't frustrated at you. It was I think it's just the over-encompassing of how often I hear the Raiders should do this for Max Crosby. That sentence just has to be taken out of the vocabulary is my point, I guess. The Las Vegas Raiders should do this because it makes the most sense for the Las Vegas Raiders. That's where I want our mind to go. That's how I guess maybe I wanted you to phrase it. I don't totally disagree with what you're saying that, if the Raiders do right by Max, they're doing right by the Raiders. You're probably right in the grand scheme of things. To me, maybe it was the phrasing of it. I don't know. I hear all the time, and I've heard all the time. And my big thing this year has got to be, and it's got to be this for every year, there's nobody above the shield, right? we're going to get into those conversations here probably again. I hope that we do. And it's not going to be around Max. It's going to be around Fernando, right? Like, if Fernando ends up being that franchise quarterback, if he's the franchise quarterback, that's where then we can revisit this conversation of it's right to do right by Fernando, right? Like, those are things that we could start talking about. But you got to do right for the team. And again, I wasn't meaning to come in after you. It was just when you hear something so often, you get to a point where you're like, we gotta do right by the Raiders. Gotta do right by the Raiders. I feel like I'm kind of going over this over and over. All right, fam. Let's get into the very first segment that I have on tap for all of y'all out there. It's going to be some training camp news, and then after that, it's going to be some winners and losers. It should be noted that this video was previously recorded. I had the other day, somebody asked me, Mitch, it was Lord Cameron Abbott on Friday's show. They're like, I've noticed the pre-recorded a little bit more often. We try to do it from time to time just so like Nick can go eat lunch. So today you're going to get another pre-recorded video, but it's going to be around Raiders training camp practice, everything that happened today. And then after that, we're going to get into some winners and losers coming up right now here on the Raiders Report. Raider Nation, it's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, with some much-needed good news from Raiders training camp practice today. And at the very end of today's show, I'm going to give you my biggest takeaways from the sixth practice, second one with pads on it. Want to give a major shout out to today's sponsor, Prize Picks. Already, if you don't know, play your first $5 lineup, and if you get that dub, you're going to get $150 in lineups to play with. So let's first start this thing off with the big Raiders practice notes from today. Lopez, can you just put practice notes up there in that title for me? Michael Mayer did not practice today. Clint Kubiak reported yesterday that his nose got busted and he's going to be okay. And I'm not going to lie to you, the moment that I saw that and I saw him today on the practice field, again, he was just wearing street clothes, he was hanging out. The moment that I saw this photo on social media, I thought to myself, I can't wait to see what Raiders practice today looks like, because all of the things that I have been hearing is the wide receiver room's been struggling, Well, with Michael Mayer not practicing today and Carter Runyon, I get it, probably not somebody that's going to end up making this 53-man roster, but that's another tight end that has not been practicing, has missed 4 straight days. So you already know that I guarantee you this, today needed to be a big day for the Raiders wide receivers, and based on the reports, today was the best day for the Raiders wide receivers. So that is some much-needed good news. And hearing that Michael Mayer is going to be okay, much-needed good news. Again, Carter Runyon did not participate, but I think the Raiders knew that this was going to happen. It's one of the reasons why they went out and they signed tight end Zach Kuntz to that contract. But, we got to be able to face the facts here, right? Brock Bowers has been an absolute monster. He's dominating every single day at practice, and he dominated yet again today. I mean, honestly, I don't even have a note in here for Brock, and he scored multiple touchdowns. Mayer's out. Ian Thomas has been okay. Carter Runyon's been battling a little bit of an injury, but because this is a team that really wants to use 2 tight ends, and Kirk Cousins has fallen in love with the tight end position this offseason, you've heard multiple reports out that, guess what? It's time for this wide receiver room to really try to take that step forward. And I don't know who needs to hear it or not, but this is a receiver room that needs to be better. Trey Tucker, Jalen Naylor, they showed up and they had 2 good practices today. Both caught touchdown passes in red zone periods, but because Mayer and Carter are out, it does put more pressure on that wide receiver room. And Malik Benson was also really good today. You can tell that connection with Mendoza. And I said it yesterday, the top 3 receivers on the Raiders receiving room right now, it is Trey Tucker, it is Jalen Naylor, and it is Malik Benson. After that, the depth is concerning. But today was the best day for the receivers, which is some much-needed good news, but I am not taking my foot off of the gas yet. I got more updates coming up here in just a little bit. Shout out to all y'all, and I just wanted to say thank you for subscribing to the Raiders Report. We did hit 226,000 subs yesterday. I plan on being live today at 4 p.m. Eastern time, though. I already have the live scheduled, and for any of the real ones out there, I got a deal for you. I'll be live in 50 minutes if you want, or I can be live an hour before. Go over to the live show. Go check that bad boy out. But I'm also going to be live this Thursday for the Hall of Fame game, and I will be live on Friday, which if you tune into today's live Friday show, And if you tune in to today's live show on Tuesday, I'm going to be dropping some stuff on Vita Vea. All I'm going to say is this. Keep your Friday open. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Let's keep it moving here on the Raiders practice notes. Dalton Johnson is continuously showing that he can be a special teams ace. And this is somebody, when the Raiders drafted him in the 5th round, didn't know exactly how he was going to fit in this team. They like him in the secondary. Again, really much of a depth piece, but really, really showing up and showing out in special teams. Malik Benson got more work today as a punt returner. Obviously, I've been talking very highly about him as a wide receiver, and I'm not all that shocked because when the Raiders drafted Benson, I said his skill set is almost a perfect match with what Fernando does. And you can see very early on that connection is growing. But also Benson might get some opportunities to be a punt returner come season. Preseason, guaranteed Benson's going to be back there. Greedy Vance, watch out for this guy. I try to reach out to people all the time, and I try to reach out to people and ask, hey, where do you think I'm missing based on some of the notes that I have? The person that I talked to yesterday told me, you're not talking about Greedy Vance enough. And Greedy kind of got some work today with some of the ones, with some of the twos, and I know he's a UDFA, but because of the nickel spot, that's going to be a really, really interesting position because the Raiders are really going to be using a lot of 5 safety, a lot of nickel back looks. So Greedy Vance, watch out for him making this squad. Coming up next here, though, on the show, I got more training camp news and notes that I got to get to. And at the very end, my biggest takeaways. But you know what today is? It's Tuesday, which means it's Taco Tuesday here over at Prize Picks, America's #1 sports pick app. And if you play your first $5 lineup and you get a win, you're going to get $150 in lineups to play with. I'll tell you this. I am 1 for my last 14 Prize Picks lineups, so do not give me a follow at Mitchell Renz 365. In fact, I need some help from all of y'all out there to find a lineup. So what did I do today? I said, Jack, I need some help, our baseball guy. And I said, I need a baseball lineup that helps me get a dub. So one of our guys at Chat Sports ended up cooking up this bad boy. It's a $20 lineup to win $120. And you can see the taco. The taco is the deal. If you're like, what is a taco? Throughout the day on Tuesday, Prize Picks, they're going to release a bunch of discounted player projections. They're called tacos, which you can see right here. Tariq Skubal is at 6.5Ks. 6.5Ks. So each taco is only available for a limited time before rotating to a new discount projection. And I hope that when people see the taco, they look at it as a good deal. And I'll tell you this right now, I am a baseball fan. I am a football fan. I am a sports fan. And if you agree with any of those statements out there, go get the Prize Picks app. There's a reason why we're talking about it every single day on this show. And I mean it. If you're a real one here on the Raiders Report, then go in the very first paragraph down below, click that link, and you're going to be able to use code HMA to get after you play your first $5 lineup and you win, you're going to be able to get $150 in lineups to be able to play with. So I love Prize Picks. Like I mentioned, this lineup that you just saw is not for me at Mitchell Renz 365, but that's only because I haven't won in a little bit. So hopefully that lineup ends up winning because baseball, it's proven to me it's kind of tough on Prize Picks. But I do love Prize Picks, and on Prize Picks, it feels good to be right. Let's keep it moving here. Raiders. August 4th, practice news. The linebackers and nickel corners did do a lot of work yet again today. And, I want to bring this up simply because I know that I've been somebody that's really talked a lot about a 3-4 defense. And that's because Rob Leonard kind of made it sound like 3-4 defense is what it's going to be. But the more and more you're kind of looking at practice, the more it's looking like a 4-2-5, 3-2-5, very nickel-based work, and I really think what the Raiders are trying to figure out now is, who they can rely on in that secondary, but lots and lots of moving parts and versatility. Tonka, another day for this young man. Honestly, I'm going to say it like this. This is also some much-needed good news. I didn't really plan on saying this one, but, I know that I'm somebody that's going to talk a lot about Vita Vea. I'm going to talk about Vita yet again today on our live show. Please pull up on the channel. And, I have been someone that has challenged this defensive tackle room. More and more reports, though, are coming out of Tonka, and I think it's only a matter of time before he's in the starting rotation over a guy like Jonah Laolu. And I think it's only a matter of time before we look at Tonka as being the best 3-tech on this roster. Let's go to the next one here. Mendoza did hit Malik Benson on a touchdown today. I thought it was noteworthy just because, again, Benson has been the third best receiver. He's been a great guy for Mendoza. He's kind of, I don't want to say he's been his safety blanket, but without a doubt, 1-5 is looking 1-9's way. It's already being a really good rookie connection. Jermod McCoy. I was talking to somebody that was at practice today, and they told me that Jermod McCoy locked up Jack Besh when they were kind of going up against each other. Now, I did also hear that Besh had some better reps, and when the pads have come on, Jack has kind of shown the ability to block a little bit better, and I'll kind of talk about this a little bit more in my biggest takeaways. But I heard today Jermod McCoy really locked up Jack Besh. Today also was packed with Raiders alumni, and if there's one thing I'll always tip my cap to Mark Davis is he has done such a good job showing alumni love, and I've talked to a few Raiders alumni in the past, and again, everybody that I've ever talked to that has ever been a Raider, played for the Raiders, knows Mark personally, always has nothing but glowing reviews about Mark Davis and this Raiders organization. But, like, you know, for Clint Kubiak to say, like, we don't have any turds, we want to take I out of the team, and all those things, like, you want to earn the shield, I think bringing in alumni that have earned the shield, that have been there and have done that, I do. I think it's a good look for some of these younger Raiders players. So I'm just going to quickly roll through. My calculation was 18 in total former Raiders were at practice today. And, you know, you got a bunch of really awesome names in there, like a Fred Belindikoff, Greg Townsend. I remember meeting Greg like 5 years ago. Kenyon Drake, the legendary we still owe it, Jello Wrestling show. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check it out. But then also some other names here to just keep in mind. We got Rod Coleman, Frank Hawkins, Bobby Hamilton. And, you know, I think it's really cool to be able to see these alumni at practice. And if there's one thing that I need to do a better job of as being the host of the Raiders Report, it's I need to learn my Raiders history, right? I was born in 1993. I don't remember the Raiders really before that. I don't really remember the Raiders all that much before I really, truly started covering this team every single day. So my question to you is this. Out of the 18 alumni that you just saw, which alumni are you most hyped to see at Raiders practice today? Please let me know down below in the comments section. There's a lot of amazing names. There's a lot of amazing Raiders greats. Hell, those Raiders greats are, I think, why we have such a big fan base, because we have not done a lot of winning of late. Joke, but I'm also kind of serious. Seriously, let me know. Alumni you're most hyped to see at practice today. Let me know down below. I'll tell you like this. I think the guy that I was the most excited to see today was Fred Belindikoff, and I say that only because there's been a lot of conversations around this Raiders wide receiver room that looks like they had a better day today overall, and maybe it's because they saw old Fred Belindikoff standing over there. Let's keep it moving today on our Raiders practice notes from today. Traden Stukes is fine. I will mention him probably in a video that I do during live with my winners and losers, but the Raiders are asking a lot of Traden, and I said this in my video that I did yesterday, but based on the people that I'm talking to, it just sounds very similar like the conversations I had around Trevon Merrick when he was a rookie of they're just giving him a lot to look at. They're playing him in the nickel. They're playing him at free safety. They're asking him to do a lot. So because they believe in him so much, they're asking him to do a lot. I think once it is like at the point where it's I'm not thinking so much and I'm going out there and I'm doing, that's where you're going to see the best version of Traden. But from what I understand, the Raiders are not worried at all with Stukes' slow start. In fact, it kind of sounds like that they expected it because of everything that they're asking him to do. DeCamerion Richardson, he had himself a good day today. This is a cornerback that I don't believe ends up making this roster, but if he can still have good practices, show that he's valuable on special teams, and, for me, I don't mean to say this, but I have been told by really good sources that DeCamerion is someone that, coaching staffs have had concerns about from a maturity standpoint. So if DeCamerion can go out there and keep having solid days after, practice after practice, who knows? Maybe he makes the team. I don't really think he does, though. DJ Glaze, I saw a tweet this morning, and I feel bad. I'm not trying to pile on just Blog Baby because I said some stuff about him yesterday. Again, nothing that I said bad. It's like, to me, the only way that you're going to make it on this show is if I respect you. That's just the point blank, right? So even though I'm going to disagree with Just Blog Baby again here, they're on the show because I respect them, right? I respect Levi Edwards. I respect Ryan McFadden. I respect Sam Warren. I respect Vincent Bonsignor. If I don't respect you, you're not going to be on this show. So I wanted to say that just because I don't want Just Blog Baby to get mad at me. But, I saw this, DJ Glaze is struggling. And, I've kind of mentioned before on this show that I've heard that DJ's had some ups and downs, but it's because he's going up against 98 more than anyone. I'll just say it like this. He had himself a really good practice today. He continuously is without a doubt, the top right tackle on this team based on all the reports that are out there. But I do know Trey Zune is obviously someone to keep their eyes on, but I wanted to say today I saw this, and I didn't want people to really think that DJ is struggling because, that's not really what I've heard. I think he's been good. The unfortunate part is he's going up against Max Crosby more than anybody else has. So if, you're looking at it just like sacks given up, yeah, Glaze is probably giving up more sacks than some other guys out there. But do you want to go up against 98? I know I don't. Let's keep it moving here. Kirk Cousins, continuously. Another very solid. The word that I'm going to use is efficient. There are some concerns based on people that I've talked to with, arm strength, just to be frank with you. It's not like floating in the air like Jimmy G, Gardner Minshew, Adam O'Connell. It ain't nothing like that, though. AOC and Kirk might have similar arm strength. Cousins has been really relying on some of these underneath routes, but he's been crushing it in red zone periods, really looking for Jalen, really looking for Trey Tucker and Brock Bowers. I mean, without a doubt, those are his top 3 targets, and there's really nobody else that's all that close. Genty deserves to be in that conversation, but those are the top 3 targets without a doubt. The offensive line, awesome. Also, much-needed good news. Back-to-back padded practices, back-to-back really good days for this offensive line. They're mixing and matching a few different players. Now, the one rep that I heard about was Tonka really put Caleb Rogers in a spin cycle, but, again, that's going to happen from time to time. When the pads came on, I was really looking at this offensive line, and I actually feel like because training camp has happened, we haven't talked about the O-line. That's a good thing, right? If you're not talking about your offensive line, I think it's a good thing. Just like if you're not talking about your special teams, it's probably a good thing. But coming up next here on the program, I'm going to give you guys my biggest takeaways from practice today. Again, I am not at Raiders training camp. I'm never going to sit up here and blow smoke up y'all's you-know-what. I am somebody that through the 9 years covering this team, I've built reputations with people. I have built connections with people, but I also am on social media at Mitchell Renz 365, and I see what is being reported out there. If you see me talking about it, it's because it's true. It's just simple as that. So let's keep it moving here on my biggest takeaways. Before I get into that, though, I wanted to switch up a duck race here. I had an OG Raiders report watcher, and I know people are busy. And I had an OG watcher said, Mitch, because I've been so busy with my work schedule, I haven't been able to join the live shows, and I haven't been able to do the duck race. So can I do a duck race even though I can't join live? You know what? This is a show made for Raider Nation, made by Raider Nation. So I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm going to call it a Megalodon duck race. It's a $20 Venmo to get in. You can get in today. You can get in tomorrow. You can get on Thursday. You can get in on Friday. I am going to do one duck race this week. If you're like, Mitch, what the hell is a duck race? It is a 50-50 raffle, and I'm already going to add $100 of my own money to that race. So if you can't join any of our live shows this entire week, and if you're like, when are you going to be live? Rewind a little bit. It'll be on that show. But you can tune in. You can send me a $20 Venmo. And then at the end of Friday's show, we're going to run this duck race, and somebody's going to win some money. So add me as a friend at Mitchell Renz 365. You can scan that QR code as well with your camera. You just hover over it, click on that link. $20 to get in the duck race. We've given away thousands of dollars before. Who knows? Maybe you're going to win over $1,000 on Friday. Let's keep it moving, though. Here are my biggest takeaways. Michael Mayer is okay, which is a good sign. The Raiders are going to have to really count on him this upcoming season with a lot of 12 tight end sets. But it was kind of I don't want to say a blessing in disguise because I want Mayer out there running those routes. But because Mayer missed practice today, the receivers needed to step up. And from what it sounds like, Trey Tucker did, Jalen Naylor did. Those are without a doubt your top 2 wide receivers. Malik Benson, though, also is starting to make his way into that wide receiver 3 type of look. But for Trey Tucker and Jalen Naylor, those are your top 2 wide receivers, and the receivers needed to have their best practice. From what I am understanding, they had their best practice today. Next note that I'm going to give. I was speaking with someone today based on how they thought the wide receivers could potentially be used once the season gets going. The source that I talked to said, I would not be shocked if Malik gets more opportunities in passing situations. So think about the Raiders wide receiver room. There is a wide receiver 1, there is a wide receiver 2. The wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 battle is between Jack Besh and it's between Malik Benson. Besh is a better run blocker than Malik. Malik has shown that he's already a better complement to Tucker and Naylor is how the way that I'm going to put it. I don't know if Malik is a better receiver than Jack Besh right now, but it's the complement. It's what Tucker and Naylor do. Benson's the better complement for this offense overall. In the passing game, again, this is just based on what is being reported, based on what I'm being told. But I could see the Raiders this year maybe using Besh a little bit more in running situations. They're still going to throw him the ball. And then Benson maybe a little bit more in the passing situations and take him off the field during those running ones. Traden Stukes is fine. I know that I'm going to probably freak some people out today when I talk about trading, and because we really haven't heard too much about him, but based on everything that's being reported, coaches are fine with him. And then the final thing I'm going to talk about is Greedy Vance making this 53. Man, I'm telling you right now, the people that I've been talking to based on what he's been doing this entire offseason, but it's not only what he's been doing, it's the Raiders' plan. And if there's one thing that is crystal clear, it's what the Silver and Black are trying to do on defense, and they're going to use a lot of nickel packages. Greedy Vance is somebody that this organization values in the nickel. Now, maybe it's a practice squad guy, but I have not given Greedy nearly enough conversation. I have not given Greedy nearly enough attention for how much of a shot he does actually have to make this team. So before I hop on out of here today, subscribe to the Raiders Report, and my deal, it remains the same. I plan on going live today at 4 p.m. Eastern time, but go over to the live show. It's already scheduled. If you guys hit the deal that's over there, I will go live an extra hour early. And if you hit the other deal over there, I'll even make you a better deal. I'll be live in 30 minutes. That was all the Raiders training camp news from today. And I did see a few people down in the comments section being like, yo, am I going crazy or did I already see that video? One thing that you're going to see from the Raiders Report moving forward is my team and I, with the earlier practices, we have to change up a few things from time to time. And again, it's just me being real with you. But for the amount of content that me and my team are trying to get done for all of y'all out there, and honestly for our own personal sake, we have to be able to take a lunch break. So the way that we're kind of doing it is we're taking the lunch break during that 20 minutes while we're live. And it helps me and my team. Honestly, maybe it's not a lot of time to all y'all, but that extra 20 minutes really helps us, I think, be able to make sure our I's are dotted, make sure our T's are crossed, and at the end of the day, I want to make sure that I put the best show and my team puts the best show humanly possible. So if you get upset about the breaks during the live program, I hear you, but there is a reason behind it, and because of the earlier training camp practices, I got to be able to give my team some time to eat. So I don't eat. So I don't eat lunch here at work. Only on Friday happy hours when I eat. All right, fam. Coming up next here on the program, training camp winners and losers. And I do know that I saw a few people asking, hey, are there any updates on Vita Vea? I talked about Vita probably about 30, 45 minutes ago. I'm just going to re-hit it here just now if you're just tuning in. Essentially, the story around Vita is we had a source talk to us today at Chat Sports, and it's making it sound like Friday could be a really big day for Vita and for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm not saying the Raiders are going to make a trade for Vita on Friday, but Friday, because it's 2 weeks of training camp practices, right before the preseason games get underway, it was really just noted of, hey, I think Tampa Bay has let Vita know, and I think Vita has really kind of let Tampa Bay know, I want to know what the hell's going on by Friday. And if we don't know what's going on by Friday, then other things could end up happening, because the number one thing that I really want people to look at, again, Vita wants a new contract, right? Vita wants to play for the Raiders. He's interested in playing for the Raiders. The Raiders are interested in bringing Vita to Las Vegas. What's going to be interesting about this is if Tampa Bay starts to find him. Right now, Vita is at training camp practices for Tampa Bay. He's not participating. He is what's doing holding in. If Tampa Bay, who it's been noted by multiple Raiders, Bucs beat reporters, that the team is not really happy with how Baker Mayfield and how Vita Vea have handled training camp and have handled this offseason. All I'm going to say is this. Our source at Chat Sports told us that Friday is an important day for Vita Vea. So you guys know I'm somebody that's going to pull up for a Friday happy hour. I might do it a little bit differently because I'm going to say it like this. I told my wife this. My wife is gone all week, Monday to Friday. She's on a work trip. She gets back Friday afternoon, and she asked me, what are we doing when I get home? Well, we're still going to do that. But we're not going to do anything for Friday night, and that's because I'm prepping and I'm preparing. We're going to be ready to go just in case some Vita Vea news happens, whether it's a contract extension, whether it's a trade to another team. But if it's a trade to the Silver and Black, cancel your Friday plans. Bring your drinking pants. You're going to need them, because I do know that there is some real serious smoke around Vea, and I'll just say it like this. You can believe me. You don't have to believe me. Just like people didn't believe me with Christian Wilkins, it's totally fine. But I promise you this right now. If I'm talking about something, it's because it's what I've been told. But it's also the NFL. And just because you're told something doesn't mean it's going to happen. Where I am never going to go down is I am always going to tell all of y'all what is happening. I'm always going to tell all of y'all what is being communicated to me. I don't give a shit if I'm right. I don't give a shit if I'm wrong. I don't care if people think I got sources or not. At the end of the day, I'm going to run this show the way that I do my life is. If I'm honest and I can put my head on my pillow when I go to bed at night, that's really all I care about. I rock with all of y'all, and I think people that rock with me know that I've done that for 9 years here on the show. But Friday, put it on your calendar. From what we understand, it could be an important day for Vita Vea. That's the important update around the defensive tackle from the Bucs. I got a few super chats to be able to get to here on the program. What up, Sean? Shout out to all the moderators. You know, Sean, I saw this one when the clip was rolling, and I probably don't do enough. I probably don't say often enough how much I appreciate the moderators around here. And, you know, maybe it's one of those things like when you got it good and you don't think about it, like, and I hope what I'm about to say here doesn't upset the moderators. You guys do such a good job at your job that I don't worry about you doing your job. You know what I mean? Like, I think at the end of the day, like, the more and more people we add here to Chat Sports, it's like, if I don't have to worry about what you're doing, it means you're doing a hell of a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not worried about what certain guys on the Raiders are doing because I know that they're doing all the right things. But the moderators here are unbelievable. If you ever see a shield next to somebody's name, they've earned that right to be a moderator. If you want to be a moderator on the Raiders Support channel, please let me know. It's not going to be something that happens very, very quickly, though. Breaking NFL news, Chicago Bears and right tackle Darnell Wright have just reached an agreement on a 4-year, $116 million extension with $93 million guaranteed, according to Jeremy Fowler. Bears, breaking news, right tackle Darnell Wright. Contract extension. If you're like, why is that an important name? Well, I'm pretty sure that was also right around the same time of a guy by the name of Alex Leatherwood. Oh, what could have been? What? Alex Leatherwood. Yeah, I mean, dude, Leatherwood actually played for the Bears there for a little bit. I remember when he got cut after the first year and he went to Chicago. I mean, Leatherwood, that was a rough one, man. That was a rough one. But, Sean, to all the moderators out there, I appreciate you. And if you do ask to be a moderator, again, like I got to see you here in the chat for years. Like, you're not just going to become a moderator because you've been here for a month, 2 months, 5 months, years. The people that you see moderators, years. And this guy's been with me, man, I think longer than just about anybody. My man, Raider Ron. I'm not on the Malik Benson hype train. Okay. He's burning our corners in training camp, but who hasn't these past few years, like Dante last year? See, here's the thing, though. Dante has not been doing all that well. Jermod McCoy had a pretty good day against Jack Besh. Like, I think that you should get on the Malik Benson hype train, and I'm going to try to convince you with this, okay? The way that I'm looking at the Malik Benson hype train, again, I look at it as impact. And impact in this Raiders offense. When you look at the skill set of what Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, Trey Tucker, Jalen Naylor have, I think the best complement piece is a player like Malik Benson, who can stretch the field. And the best part about Malik Benson's game, at least that I saw on film, and I've said it before, you go back and you can watch it, it's like that deep ability to track a football, Willie Mays style, over his shoulder catches. He just makes it look so easy. And that's what you're seeing. You're already seeing Fernando and him build up a very, very good rapport, and that should excite fans out there a lot because I do think Malik's going to be a hell of a player for this team. Do I think he's ever going to turn into maybe a number 1 or number 2? I don't necessarily know, but I'll tell you this. I feel really good about Malik being a really good wide receiver 3 on this Raiders team for the next couple of years. But the Malik Benson hype train, I want you to get excited about him because he has been looking really good running a bunch of different routes. Has he been cooking against some of our corners? Yes, he has. But also, like, in the same breath, like, this isn't just a training camp thing. He looked good in OTAs. He looked good in minicamp. When I say hype train, like, I don't think Malik's going to get over 400 receiving yards this year. But I think as an impact player for this team, if Benson, the rookie, ends up finishing this season with, like, I don't know, 34 catches, that's 2 catches a game. Let's say he's somewhere around, let's go 350, 400 yards. And if he can find 2 to 3 touchdowns, it's an outstanding season for a 6th-round pick. And that's kind of the impact that I think Malik could make. But just having that deep field ability, like, that's why I want fans to buy into the hype train. He is a good deep threat. He's one of our best deep threats that we have right now. He's also been crushing, though, with Mendoza in the middle of the field. Pause. There's definitely a pause in there. Definitely a pause in there. Andrew, I've been here for years. Just don't type after @Raiders Report. Well, see, like, how am I supposed to know then? You know what I mean? Like, if you're telling me I've been here for years, why am I not a moderator? Oftentimes I'll say it like this. You got to be a part of the conversation, right? If you're going to be a moderator, I need you to be a part of the conversation. You got to be down in the comments, got to be interacting with people. Like, dude, Ron Raspberry replies to every single comment on every single video. I'll make a deal to anybody out there watching this show. If you reply to every single comment on every single video that I drop in the month of August, I'll make you a moderator. I will. I'll make you a moderator. I'll put that deal out there right now because nobody's outworking Ron Raspberry, not even me. I don't even get close to outworking Ron Raspberry. That guy's a sick son of a gun, but I love him. That's what it takes to be a moderator here. So seriously, to anybody out there, if you comment to every person that comments on a video like Ron Raspberry does, I'll make you a moderator. Somebody out-comment Ron Raspberry, I'll make you a moderator. That guy's a crazy, crazy man, dude. Oh, he said, no, I don't want to be a mod. I just love the Raiders content. No, you're good. You're good. I got you. And I know that there's so many people that watch this show all the time, and I want people to interact in the comments. Like, I want to be able to see it. I want other people to see it. Like, I want people to know the community that we have because it's not just a Raiders game day community. It's not just a Raiders when news happens community. You're a sicko if you're watching the Raiders Report in the middle of June, July for Madden simulations on a Tuesday. Now, we did get some good information coming out today, but, like, let's get more people here, man. Let's get more people here. See, Gabe, are you doing a meetup for next week's practice? Yes, sir. I am. So I will say this, because practice is at 6 o'clock, I planned on getting there at 5 o'clock, and I told my wife it started at 4, just to be safe. My wife, I don't know how all y'all wives work with time. I don't know if it's a Latina thing. I don't know if it's a Mexican thing. My wife's always late. So I told my wife, Raiders practice starts. So if nobody message Alex anything, nobody share anything, Alex thinks Raiders practice starts an hour before it actually starts. But out in front of Allegiant Stadium, August 11th, I will be there with my wife, and we're really honestly looking forward to the practice. I'll also be there with some other people. So just make sure you guys are responsible. The one person that I'm going to be there with is a very, very important person in Las Vegas. So just make sure you guys are on your best behavior. But it's going to be a great time. I can't wait to meet up. I can't wait to link up. And honestly, dude, like, I don't know what y'all are doing after practice on Tuesday. I've already kind of talked to my bosses about my plan. I am not going to drop a video after practice on Tuesday night. I'm just going to drop one Wednesday morning before my flight back home. But, like, I don't know if anyone's out and about on Tuesday. If anybody's down to get down on a Tuesday in Las Vegas, I'll be out there, man. I'll be out there, man. What up, Rebel? Where's the meetup August 11th? Out in front of Allegiant Stadium. I'm not going to make it too complicated. I also know that people have to work. So I'm going to be there an hour before practice gets going. So that's when my wife and I will be there. It'll be fun, dude. Honestly, Big Raz, my girlfriend and daughter will be in Vegas for sure. Not sure I can make it, but I'd love for you to meet my little Raiderette brother from Big Raz. Let's make it happen. I don't know how I'm going to be able to do it, but I'm going to try to make it happen. You have my word. On a Tuesday. Bro, you got it. On a Tuesday. So Monday, I got a bunch of stuff going on Monday, Raz. Maybe Tuesday, like in the morning sometime. Maybe we meet up Tuesday, Raz, before I go to Allegiant Stadium. Maybe we could do something like that, if that works for you. Just contact me. You know how to get a hold of me, whether it's on Instagram. I know it's usually your significant other's account, but we got you. You going to the live practice August 11th. Give me a yes. Give me a no. If you do not know, I will be there an hour before. Mitch, by the bridge or the store? I was going to do by the store, right in front of the Raider Image store. Because last year when I went, it was me, Taino, Zaun, and Chugs. There were like tents out in front of the Image store because the gates opened 30 minutes before. So essentially, I remember like there were tents outside. I plan on standing underneath one of those tents again. Yep. If you're in Vegas on any day, by definition, you are down to get down, CJ. Craig, you're right, bro. You're right. Though, like I feel like it's a lot more difficult now to get down in Vegas because it's slowing down a little bit. I mean, I had some people reach out to me about doing some watch parties in Las Vegas, and unfortunately, like I told them, like I'm not going to be able to do it for what they wanted me to do. But Vegas is getting a little bit quiet. I'm hoping that it gets picked back up, but I think people that make a lot of the price points in Vegas need to realize not everybody's a millionaire. Vegas is getting out of hand in terms of pricing. Let's get it back down to being normal so people can go out and have a good time again. Reminder, y'all, our duck race here on the Raiders Report, it's not going to be going down today. It's going to be going down on Friday. I'm giving people an opportunity who can't always join our live shows to participate in a live duck race. So if you want to get in, it's a $20 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365. And if you don't know, I'm already adding $100 of my own money in. So between the ducks that we get today and the ducks that we get Friday for happy hour, we're snooky smushing them together, and we're going to run a Megalodon duck race. If you're like, what the hell is Megalodon? Last week was Shark Week. I love dinosaurs. Google Megalodon. It's legendary. But I want people to get in, man. So if you want a chance to get in at Mitchell Renz 365. The last time that I checked, it would be a $20 Venmo for a shot to win $150 here on the program. Shout out to Rob Fravor, Arbora, David Cheney, Daniel Kuhn, and Mark Gallagher for getting in so far. 5 people in. Winner right now is going home with $150, and I'm going to run that race on Friday. Here are the deals that we're doing today on the show. Every $5 super chat that you see somebody send in, you're going to get one fantasy football raffle ticket. The $50 alley-oop wheel spin, I'll say it like this. If you do want to play in my fantasy football league, this is without a doubt the best deal that I have on the show today, and without a doubt your best chance to play in my fantasy football league. If you don't want to play in my fantasy football league, I don't really know if this one has all that much for you. $100 August bang. Whoever bangs the most this month will also get in my fantasy football league. Do you have those listicles of who's in the league already? Cool. So if you're wondering who's in the league as it stands right now, we're doing a 16-team league. I'm going to do it on Sleeper, just so all y'all know. Raider Ron, Bayou Raider, LCA, Matt Fluhey, though. Fluhey did say on Friday that he might be willing to give his spot away. Stay tuned on that one. Craig Nelson Jr., Ron Raspberry, you in. Steven Hansen, you in. Brian Cullig, also in the Raiders Report Fantasy Football League. Spoiler alert, I am also in the league. And then I'm going to give 3 spots away for the MVPs for preseason week 1, preseason week 2, preseason week 3. Whoever is the August Bang MVP, we're going to do an August raffle. And then the last 2 spots, I don't know yet. I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'm saving out for MVP of a Vita Vea type of show. But all I know is this. Lots and lots of content coming at you here on the Raiders Report. And if you want to get in my Raiders Report Fantasy Football League, August is about the real ones. And I'm not going to do fantasy raffle tickets on every show. I'm doing it today because it's Tuesday. And I know Tuesday means the real ones are here in the building. So those are the deals on the show today. Are y'all ready to get into the winners and losers here for Raiders training camp? I think I'm ready to get into some winners and some losers. Rebel, hopefully I take his spot. Rebel, you won last year, right? It was what? You against Nabman? Is that the case? I believe that was it, Reb. I think it was Rebel against Nabman. Is that right, Reb? Just double confirm that with me. I believe that's the case. Shout out to the real ones. Last year's winner should be in. Nabman said Rebel cheated. Win by AI. What does that mean, win by AI? All right, well, if you won, Big Raz, I agree. Winner should get in. All right, can you go back to that listicle for me real quick? Can you make that TBD's Rebel Montana? I mean, Rebel, I think it's fair. You won. Raider Ron says, you should get in. So let's get him in. Rebel Montana, you in. Rebel, I got you. I think it's fair, dude. I think it's fair. I think it's fair. I think it's fair. I think it's fair. Rebel, you in. Shout out to you for being a mod. Shout out to you for being a real one. Shout out to you for, I mean this when I say this, Rebel. You are without a doubt one of the best friends that I have made from this show. I don't say that lightly. I've gotten the chance to meet a bunch of your friends, your dad. You always show up and show out on this show. You're a moderator. I've hung out with you so many times in person. We talk all the time on social media. I think one of the things that if you would have told me 9 years ago doing this show that I never would have thought, it's the God-honest friendships and connections that I've been able to film, make with people talking to a camera. Dude, it's really, really special. Rebel, shout out to you, homie. Let's go to Roy Moreno. Mitch, are you going to run a Kirk Cousins simulation on Madden? Do I have to? I mean, the other day somebody asked me, Mitch, would you do an entire live show, okay? An entire live show where it's Raiders Kirk Cousins season, and the live show just starts week 1 Madden. I mean, I'm going to tell you this right now. That's like an all-day live show. Like, that's not a short live program. But I don't know, based on my timing and, like, based on my schedule, how I could possibly run a whole nother Madden simulation season. So I'll just say it like this. Man, if you guys would be interested in me doing an all-day live, because that's what it would be. It would legitimately be like an all-day live show of, here's the Raiders season. Imagine a live day of 17 Raiders games. Now, the way that I would do it, I would probably make them a little bit shorter of the games, and then we would run through the playoffs and whatnot if we ended up making it. If you guys would be down, I'm going to talk to my bosses about it. I will figure out a way to make it happen. I will give you guys a deal, and if the deal is hit, we can make it happen. Or if Raider Ron drops Ron's like, let me see what I got. Let me see what I got. No, I mean, I'll tell you this right now. If we got 10 bangs on Venmo, I bet you they would let me do it. If somebody did 10 bangs on Venmo right now, I'll just say, F it, let's run it. But I'd have to ask them, because the unfortunate part is it's not just me. We're running a company, and if I run a live show like that, the amount of stress that puts on our producing, let's call it bullpen, because that's how you got to look at it. Producers here, like Lopez is a part of our, I'll call it like bullpen staff, where he is one of our best guys. He's with me. Now, maybe I can convince him for the entire live show, but again, it messes up our rotation a little bit of our bullpen because a lot of other videos need to be made. But if you guys want it to happen, I promise you, I will do my best to make it happen. What up, Bo Mackey? Got to go to work. Save a Warrior, Later Nation. If you guys don't know, major shout out to my brother, LA Crash Dog. I was talking to him this weekend. Don't know, go to saveawarrior.org/donate. Tell them Father Tom sent you. I don't care if you're military. I don't care if you're a grown-ass man. I don't care if you're the strongest woman on planet Earth. If you're dealing with something, don't be afraid to talk about it. Don't be afraid to talk to me. Don't be afraid to talk about it here on the Raiders Report. And if you know anybody struggling, tell them to look up Save a Warrior. They're doing amazing things over there. What up, Craig? Is Ethan alive? It was a pretty vicious KO. If you did not tune in to our show on Friday, I did a Raiders Report Friday happy hour. I brought one of our new guys in, and it was a 10-round boxing match, Raider Nation versus Ethan. Ethan lost after 6 rounds, and it was a big-time KO. I was literally just talking to him about it today because I told him when he got done with the show, I go, bro, send me a receipt for your food. I'll pay for your food. Thank you so much for everything. He literally just sent it to me. And the order that he got, it should put him on a list. A cheese-only quesadilla. What are we doing here? So the weirdest order I heard the other day was somebody ordered pineapple calzone, and that was it. One of the other new guys ordered a calzone with only pineapple in it. I was literally like, what are you doing here? He says he's still clogged up. Good. No, I love pineapple on pizza. Like, I would try it, but now what's the other one? See, I'm amazed on how many people here don't eat fruit, don't eat veggies. I mean, again, like, I don't know. Like, I like vegetables. I like fruit. You are what you eat, right? No. Big Raz, Blaine, Craig, Rebel, Montana. Shout out to all y'all. I see you guys here in the building. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This one made me laugh. C. Gave Go said it was a ref stoppage in the 6th round. Big facts. Sir Carter, get a pick. Hey, help baby Megatron get better. Too much upside. If we just work him, his size, speed is amazing on trade for Nolan Smith from Eagles. I don't know. If you're, Sir Carter, if you're saying baby Megatron is Dante Thornton Jr., I mean, that's like, that's my guess. That's my guess. That's the only way. I mean, that's the only person on this team that would even be baby Megatron. And, like, I think that's the other part of the equation here why we got to pump the brakes a little bit on Dante Thornton. And maybe that's my fault, right? I had Thornton on the show last year. We raised money for his charity. I literally have a Dante Thornton jersey in the back room here. Sir Carter, do you want a Dante Thornton jersey? I swear to God, do you want one? I have one, Sir Carter. If somebody bangs on the show, I'm sending Dante Thornton jersey to Sir Carter for baby Megatron. I just need your address, bro. I swear to God, I'll send it. It's an XL. I don't care. I don't know if it doesn't fit you. I have a Dante Thornton jersey. Well, I did one of those. I did one of those like mystery boxes. I used to do them last year once in a while for like prizes, and I did a mystery box recently, and I looked to make sure I knew what the jersey was. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I am on the fence because I'm like, do I give that jersey away or do I do like a raffle? But then I'm also like, I don't even know if he makes the team. But I see a super chat like this. Here's my deal. If one person bangs on the show, I'm sending Sir Carter a Dante Thornton jersey for baby Megatron. You're not going to make a deal involving Nolan Smith and Dante. And again, like, to me, if you make a trade, you're hoping to get like a 7th round pick. That's just the fact of the matter. Like, I do think Dante could be an interesting player that maybe he goes on a practice squad, can learn a little bit more. There's no doubt that he's got the athletic ability, but the biggest problem with Dante's game right now is he can't get off the line. He's got drop problems. And when he does get off the line, everybody knows he's got one route, and it's a go. And he hasn't done a good job tracking deep balls. So it's like, I think what's really hard about doing this job, and it's why I have to always make the decision to do this job the way that I do it, because I get agents that tell me, unfortunately, like, hey, my client's not going to join your show because you don't speak very well about him. And it probably is not all that shocking that last offseason, Dante and his agent, like, I was talking to those guys all the time. And now they don't, talk to me as much anymore. And it's shitty. It's part of the conversation. But, like, at the same time, I got to be able to tell fans my God-honest opinion. And if you were to ask me right now if I think Dante makes this squad, I do not. I don't. I don't think Dante Thornton Jr. is going to make this Raiders roster. I don't. And it's because he can't help you out on special teams. Like, if he's going to be the bottom of the roster guy, I'd much rather keep a Shedrick Jackson, who also has flashed some really good and also can help us out on special teams. Scheffler, Mount Raider Moore's very own. What up, Sheffy? Mitch, I'm pretty sure you don't have that many bosses at Chet Sports. You're right. I don't work at Chet Sports. He used the word bosses. I do have 2 bosses. I do. I have 2 bosses. The CEO of the company, his name's James, and our COO is named Brett. Those 2 guys, they are my bosses, and I respect those 2 guys a lot. They gave me a shot when not a lot of other people would. Do I think they would really get mad at me? No, I don't. But the way that I am as a man is the way I'm going to say it like this. I don't care if I'm 30 years old. I always will look at my dad as my dad, and I will always look at my grandparents as my grandparents. I think far too often respect is something that's, kind of lost. Like, if you're older than me, I'm going to call you sir. If you're older than me, I'm going to call you ma'am. And it's just, it's a respect thing for me. It's, that's how I was raised. That's how I look at it. And I could be at Chat Sports for 30 years. I could be at Chat Sports for 30 years. I hope I am here my entire career. I mean it when I say that. But also at the same time, if they ask me to do something, I'm going to do it. Why? Because I think for people that know what it takes to be a part of a great team, and I know that I am an important member here at Chat Sports. I like to think of myself as the quarterback. I think that I am a very important part of what the Chat Sports ecosystem is. But I also think it's really important for the quarterback, even the top guys, the Max Crosbys, to say, you know what, I got to be humble. The Brock Bowers got to be humble. If my bosses tell me to do something, I'm going to do it. It's just simply out of respect, because if people see me not doing it, then other people are going to say, well, if Mitch doesn't do it, then why do I have to do it? I give 110%, and I'm always going to give 110% because I am a big practice how you play, practice how you preach type of guy. And if I'm going to hoot and holler the way that I do for Raiders players wanting to give 110% every day, I feel like I got to do the same thing. But I do have multiple bosses, and I'll just say it like this. As long as I'm here, if those guys tell me to do something, I respect them enough where I'm probably going to do it. And they do things for me as well. So that's how it goes, man. That's how it goes. Just like Mount Raider, more respect. It's earned. Arbora, Mitch, send it to Sir Carter from the bang earlier. Arbora, Sir Carter said, yeah, I'll take it. I don't know. I need your, I guess I'll say it like this, Sir Carter. I need to know a shipping address, and I'm not going to make you just put it in the chat. So the easiest ways to do it are you can Venmo me. I will figure out a way to double confirm it's you, because unfortunately, we do live in a world where people have tried to cheat me out of things that other people have won. Luckily, our team is really good at being able to sniff it out. But I'm a man that's going to make a deal, Sir Carter. So my deal, Arbora, I hear you. I appreciate you. You've done a lot of really, really good things on this show, man. No doubt. Holy guacamole, it's Bo. What's up, dude? For those that don't know, the name that just dropped down there, that's Michael's father. That was the young man who was dealing with leukemia. So, Michael, I hope everything's going okay with you, brother. Bo, I've been keeping up to date on all your Instagram stuff. Keep sending that to me. Please, 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 please. Please, keep me in the loop. Keep me in the loop. Keep me in the loop. All right, fam. Let's go through some of this winners and losers from Raiders training camp today. If you're tuning in, you're like, man, how long have these guys been live? I went live earlier on the show today. I went live at 2:45 Eastern time. I know I typically go live at 4 p.m. Eastern time, but I put out a deal on the video that I dropped a few hours ago. That deal was hit, so I went live a little bit earlier on the program today. Preston, Pout Plays. I just saw those 2 super chats come in. We will get to them after this segment. I want to get into the Raiders training camp winners and losers, and then after that, we'll sit back. We'll answer some super chats that are coming in, some other questions that are flowing. Ron said we should get your dad in the fantasy football league. I mean, Ron, I did say if there's one person that can make it happen, it's probably Raider Ron. So, my dad definitely wants to get in, but I also am like, I want people that watch the show to have the chance to get in. And I told my dad, I'm like, bro, I feel kind of bad if you get in over somebody else. So let's say it like this. The only way my dad's getting in the league is if we go to like 18 teams. Or if somebody does some wild and crazy shit to make it just 16 with my dad. That's the way it's got to be. All right, you guys ready to rock? Are y'all ready to rock? Sir Carter, send Mitch your shipping address on IG at Mitchell Renz 365. Send him $1 on Venmo. He will refund with your shipping address in the comments for the Venmo. Big Raz, or Nabman, correct. Again, I know some people might get weirded out with that statement, but I think anybody that's watched this show knows if I ask for money, I will send it back to you. I hope that I have proven to you guys throughout the years of me doing this program. I'm a normal guy that loves the Las Vegas Raiders, rocks with Raider Nation. I'm an honest guy. I'm not going to cheat anybody. And if I do cheat you, tell me, and I will correct it, because mistakes happen, especially when you drink the beers we do. So, all right, y'all, let me get a sip here, and then we'll get into winners and losers. Like, honestly, the perfect way to do it is the way Can't Walk did it the other day. He's like, hey, haven't received my email from Panda Sups. Messaged him. We got it taken care of. And he told me he got the Dubai chocolate. Unflippin' Unbelievable. Unflippin' believable. Those are the rules if you want the jersey. All right, fam. Are we ready? Are you ready, Nick? All right, I'm looking to see if anybody else got in the duck race. I just saw Raider Sancho. Did I put Sancho in? Raider Sancho, you're going in. And then I'm going to put in another one just because I feel like it. And I'm looking for the exact name. Okay. And I'm also going to put one in for Joseph Bohannon. Joseph, that's the dad of Michael. I'll probably do it a few times throughout, the offseason from time to time. Again, I don't want to say I'm very much invested in Michael now, Bo, but I am. Like, I find myself checking your Instagram. I want your son to do good, man. I want him to do well. He's a really good kid, and no kid should have to go through that. Bottom line, no kid should have to go through it. I watched the Iowa, what's it called? The Iowa Wave yesterday. I can't stop watching it. My thoughts and prayers are with your entire family. I want you to know that. I really, really want you to know that, man. So, all right, let's get into this first cut. Winners and losers here. And this is just going to be around Raiders training camp practices so far. I will admit, I kind of, favored the last two practices. Yes, technically 6 practices in total, but would you all have this agreement with me? The 2 padded practices are more important than the 4 non-padded practices? I would probably say yes to that. So a lot of the winners and losers that you're going to see are probably going to be mainly of the guys in the last 2 days. So, yep. EMG, why did Lopez quit? I don't know. If Lopez quit, I'm in trouble because then I need a new producer. Yeah, Lopez is like, when did I quit? He's like, wait a minute. Oh, man, that's funny. All right, guys, let's get into the winners and losers here on the show. And then after that, we're going to answer some super chats. We're going to answer some questions. And then I'll probably hop on out of here. You ready to rock? Are y'all ready to rock? I hope the answer to that is yes. Oh, my God, I just saw this tweet, and it makes me want to throw up. Sanjeet just tweeted, the Raiders took Tyree Wilson at 7. Do you want to hear the next 5 players that were drafted? 2023. I knew it was bad. I didn't realize it was this bad. Drafted at number 8, Bijan Robinson. Drafted at number 9, Jalen Carter. Drafted at number 10, Darnell Wright. Drafted at 11, Peter Skoronski. Drafted at 12, Jahmyr Gibbs. Jesus fucking Christ. I excuse my language, but holy hell, man. Holy hell. Now, Lopez is here, unfortunately, because my studio, the Raiders Report studio, is under construction right now. We got some really cool shit loading up for all you guys. I'm so excited to be able to show you our new studio setup. It's gonna be sick. I really think it's gonna take us to that next level, and I always, every single year, try to make it to the next level. But our studio is under construction, so Lopez unfortunately doesn't have a mic in this one. So he did not quit. You just can't hear him, but he's back there. He's back there. Yoda, Mitch, you're making me depressed. Yoda, I'm making myself depressed. I mean, I knew it was bad. Like, I knew it was Bijan, Jalen, and Darnell. I'm not going to lie, I forgot it was Skoronski and Gibbs, too. Skoronski, though, he's been battling some injuries. That's a tough look. That's a tough look. Haha, Lopez, Klay Thompson. Is that... Apparently, Klay Thompson might be interested in going to the Lakers. All right. Could be something. Lopez got hungry and ate the mic. Only Sherlock does that. I've only seen one person try to eat a mic. That's Sherlock Raider. Coming up, Raiders training camp winners and losers. And then after that, we're going to be answering super chats here on the program. You ready? Y'all ready? Let's get into it right now here on the Raiders Report. Coming up right here on the Raiders Report, presented by Prize Picks, Raiders training camp winners and losers so far. So as it stands right now, Las Vegas has completed, can you update, 6 practices, 2 with pads. And if you're a real one, I want you to let me know down below who's a player that you think has been a winner so far for the Silver and Black. Now, I mean this when I say this. I'm going to try to really emphasize more of the winners than I am the losers. I also think that it's important to note that I am going to emphasize the 2 padded practices because I believe 2 padded practices is more important than the 4 previously non-padded practices. But the way that these training camp winners and losers are ranked are 5 all the way down to 1, being 1 is the biggest winner. 1 is also the biggest loser, but I am going to just really talk about the winners a little bit more than the losers. So here we go. Coming in at number 5, Fernando Mendoza, the rookie quarterback. Has he been as good as Kirk Cousins? The answer to that is no. But what Mendoza has shown is the ability to be a sponge and the qualities and the characteristics that you're looking for in a young franchise quarterback. And I almost wonder if this talking point is been brought up as much because the last time the Raiders took quarterback number 1 overall, I know, Jamarcus Russell, blank tapes, complete opposite of what Fernando has been on and off the field. But I think the good news of this is Fernando is very much so impressing this coaching staff. He's very much so impressing this front office. And if there's one thing that's being reported by guys like Albert Breer, Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, hell, I've heard it from my own sources and the Raiders beat reporters, Fernando Mendoza looks like he's got the mental makeup of a franchise quarterback. Let's let him be a rookie. It's going to take a little time to learn. Let's go to number 4 here for our Raiders training camp winners on offense, presented by Prize Picks. Kirk Cousins. Cousins has continuously been consistent, and he's taking care of the football. And that's what I really care about. To me, if Cousins is going to be the quarterback of this team, he needs to show that he can execute this offense. Take care of the football, get the ball in the hands of Brock Bowers, get the ball into the hands of your young running back in Ashton Genty, and I don't need Kirk to try to be anything more than exactly what Kirk Cousins is. Because this Raiders offense, with our offensive line, with the tight end group, with the running back group, I think if Kirk is just looks himself in the mirror and he goes, hey, I'm not going to be the guy that goes out there and slings it for 300 yards anymore, but if I have a 70% completion percentage, if I'm at 200 yards every game, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, we're going to be able to control the football with a good defense, good running game, great tight ends, that needs to be the mental makeup. And I think that's really what the Raiders are trying to get through. But where Kirk is killing it is in the red zone periods. He's spreading the ball around, and he's just being efficient. I think that's the word that I got to keep using when it's with Kirk. I need him to be efficient. Efficiency is key when you're a 37-year-old veteran, but he's also been an outstanding leader for that team. And he literally made me LOL when he came out of that breakdown the other day in the huddle after some fans called him slow. Came out of that huddle the other day and just sprinted down the field. I love that type of shit. Let's go to number 3 here. It's going to be Ashton Genty. And part of being a winner, and maybe it's chalk, I was even thinking about, do I even put Genty? Do I even put Bowers on this list? But, he's looked really good. And the Raiders' offensive line is opening up some big holes for him. So, based on what was reported over the past 2 days, the Raiders' offensive line looks good. And they are really kind of cranking out some big holes here for Genty. But they're using him in the passing game. They're using him in the screen game. They are using him in a multitude of different ways. And even though you're bringing in some other running back vets, I think it's because they're looking for more special teams. If you don't already have a fantasy football lineup, a league going, take Ashton. He's going to be unbelievable. Also, I saw this and I thought this was unbelievable. Not oftentimes do I get 3 really, really freaking sick comments back to back on my phone. But this one I first saw, it said, this is hands down the best channel. The info is valid. Not some clickbait thumbnail. Thanks, Mitch, and go Raiders. I'll tell you this right now. If you're looking for Raiders news, Raiders rumors, which are fun to talk about, I'm not going to give you any clickbait. If I talk about it on the show, it's because it has happened. And if I'm not talking about it on the show, it's because I don't think it's important enough for Raider Nation. But I also saw this one from Scott Gill, and I saw that one also there at the very, very bottom. I see all y'all, I rock with all y'all, and I do really, really appreciate when you say that. But hey, don't take my word for it. Become a part of the community. Hit that subscribe button. Let's go to number 2 here for the Raiders training camp winners on offense. Malik Benson comes in at number 2. I will say Benson's been the third best receiver for the Silver and Black this offseason, and I almost wonder if a game happened today, if Benson and Jack Bech split reps. Like, I almost wonder if they would split snaps. One of the sources that I talked to was kind of just talking to me about, like, the role that he could see basically Malik and Jack Bech playing, and that Benson could get more work in passing situations. Maybe Bech gets more work in running situations, but Malik has been building an unbelievable chemistry with Fernando Mendoza, and outside of Trey Tucker and Jalen Naylor, Benson has been the best guy. So the reason why I think that you got to consider him as being a training camp winner is because if the 6th-round rookie ends up supplanting and taking over that wide receiver 3 job over Jack Bech, maybe it's not that big of a story yet. But next year when Trey Tucker becomes a free agent, that's when it's going to be a really, really big conversation starter. And then, you also talk about it really from just like a special teams perspective. Like, Malik's taking punt returns, and he looks good doing the whole punt return game right now. This is a young man that I think the Raiders like what they see in him. He's being explosive when the ball's in his hands. And early on in training camp, you're seeing the Raiders are finding ways to get him the ball. That means they like what they see, and I also like what I see. Before I get into the biggest winner here for the Las Vegas Raiders at training camp on the offensive side of the football, I got also the #1 sports pick app as a sponsor here on the Raiders Report. If you're a fan of the Raiders and if you're a fan of the show and you don't have Prize Picks, get Prize Picks now. Why? Because every sports fan should have the Prize Picks app on their phone, and I'm also going to talk about Prize Picks the next 365 days. If you don't know this new user offer that they have, if you play a $5 lineup and you get a win, you're going to get $150 in lineups if you win. So what I did is I put a link for you guys down in the comments, down in the description of today's show. If you click on that link, you're going to be ready to rock and roll. So it's literally in the very, very first paragraph underneath. So use code HMA, play that first $5 lineup, and you're going to get $150 in lineups if you win. The lineup that I'm going to show you is actually the one that Lopez has submitted for himself. This you can see Fernando and Brock Bowers with the Moore. He's an LSU guy, Jamar Chase, but I think the Moore makes a lot of sense there as well for Jamar. $10 entry to win $60 here on the program. Brock is going to crush that Moore. Fernando, we will wait and we will have to see. But the bottom line is this. If you love sports, go get started with Prize Picks. And new users, if you use code HMA and play that first $5 lineup and you get that dub, you're going to get $150 in lineups. Shout out to Raider Nation 88, Sherlock, Nathan Wolf, Roger Chandlers, all for showing up and showing out for our sponsor, Prize Picks, where it feels good to be right. Coming in here, #1 is somebody that I'm right about, somebody that you're right about, somebody that everybody's right about. And I kind of hate myself for putting Brock Bowers at #1, but at the same time, like, he's really been that good. Like, I don't know if I can emphasize enough. Like, I had somebody today yell at me on Twitter, like, Mitch, we know how good Brock Bowers is. You don't need to say that he's dominating at training camp. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Because he is like, it's dominating to like a whole nother level. The Raiders can't find anybody that can cover him. Taron Johnson hasn't been able to do it. No corners have been able to do it. No linebackers are able to do it. And I get it. You can say whatever you want about this Raiders defense, but you're looking at the Raiders defense of the past. This new look Raiders defense is a damn good Raiders defense. Quay Walker said today he thinks that they're going to be top 10. They haven't been top 10 since 2003 when they went all the way back to the Super Bowl, technically 2002. So you're looking at a really, really long time since this team has been top 10. But, like, he has been that good. He's really been uncoverable. He scores every single practice. He does exactly what he wants to do on every route. He's blocking, he's catching, and, like, I feel bad for saying Brock Bowers has been the biggest training camp winner, but in this new look offense with Clint Kubiak and in a contract year, I don't know how Brock doesn't think that he's the biggest winner, because Kirk Cousins, I'm pretty sure when he goes to bed at night, he's counting 89s. You know, he's not counting sheep. He's counting 89s because his eyes look to Brock, then they look to Bowers, and then they look to Brock Bowers, and then he's trying to figure out where to go everywhere else. But, like, you're going to see this team use a lot of different looks, and because of there's been a lot of conversations about the receivers. Now, again, the receivers were much better on August 4th, day 2 of the padded practice, but Brock is the #1 guy, and he has been looking unbelievable. So much so that it's even a lot better than I think a lot of us actually anticipated, which is a crazy thing to say out loud. Some honorable mentions that I want to put here for offense. You're going to see Michael Mayer. He did not practice today. He left practice early yesterday also with a busted nose. The reason why I'm going to put him as a winner is because the first 4 days of practice, you did hear a lot of conversations of Kirk Cousins loves the tight end position, and Cousins was really, really peppering the tight ends with targets. That's going to be good news for Michael Mayer, who's looked good. I've heard good things about Mike Washington Jr. I had a super chat earlier on the show, I believe it was from Sean Irish. I'll say it like this, Sean. I've heard good things about Mike Washington Jr., and if they add another running back, I don't know if it's necessarily like they don't believe in Mike. I think it's they want a veteran who can also play special teams. Naylor's been solid. I would say he's been actually the guy that's been better a little bit than Trey Tucker. And then Colt Miller looks healthy. Tyler Linderbaum is everything that he's chalked up to be, but he's really taken that next step as a vocal leader. And knowing Colton the way that I do, I've never met Tyler, but I've met Miller multiple times. I talk to him pretty frequently. Miller's like very quiet. Linderbaum, also very quiet. So for Linderbaum to like take this of, hey, I need to be a vocal leader here, it's why they gave him the money that they did. Coming up next year, though, on the program, unfortunately, we got to talk about these Raiders training camp losers on the offensive side of the football. And again, I'm only going to talk about 3 of them, and we're going to be a little bit shorter and quicker because it's training camp after all. Jordan Meredith coming in here at number 3. They've been using him at center, and he's been having some problems snapping the football. Also, he's been battling with Will Putnam, and I've been looking for some updates on Meredith and Putnam. I guess I'll just say it like this. If Meredith is actually in a camp battle with Will Putnam, that's really, really disappointing. But I am also kind of disappointed that like the Raiders aren't using him at guard. And I think Meredith is best at guard. But the problem is you got Caleb Rogers, you got Burford, you got JPJ. I just don't think that they value him as a guard. So if they're like, hey, I need you to play center, because I don't really think that this team looks at JPJ as being a center from a consistency and being able to get the play calls in. So, like, I do know that Meredith has struggled. I don't know if he ends up making this squad or not, but it's not been a very good training camp so far for Jordan Meredith. Let's face it, he really needed to have a good training camp. It's just he did. Let's go to number 2 here. It's going to be Jack Bech at the wide receiver position. If you haven't followed Raiders training camp this offseason, you probably don't know how bad the wide receiver group has been. Now, I am saying that today on Tuesday, August 4th. You guys might get this video tomorrow, depending on when you watch this video. And this is coming after the Raiders wide receivers had by far their best practice on Tuesday. But the reason why I think Jack Bech does have to be listed as a loser is because he might be losing that battle to Malik Benson. And I wonder. And in fact, I'm just gonna ask this question right now. I didn't plan on doing it. As a Raiders fan, do you believe in Jack Bech or Malik Benson more? Like, I think it's a conversation that does need to be had, and I think it also is based on fit. If I'm hearing that they think Benson might be a better fit in this offense than Jack Bech already, that's something that I think fans need to be a little bit concerned about because he doesn't look like a second-round pick. He made a hell of a touchdown catch today. That should be noted, but he's been getting locked down by guys. He's just not showing what a second-round pick needs to look like. And I know Malik Benson has been lighting the world on fire at training camp. So it makes me sad because I do really want Bech to succeed. I have high hopes for Bech and Clint's offense. Like having a wide receiver that can block a little bit more, that's something that I thought was going to be valuable. But if Bech can't create separation and if he's got to moss people every time to go up and get a ball, that is definitely concerning for me. But we got to go to number 1 here. And again, it sucks to say it, but it's got to be Dante Thornton Jr. Maybe there's another player that I don't know that has been a bigger loser. And I hate saying it because I know Dante is such a good guy, but he's had drop issues. Hasn't been able to get off the line. Like one of the guys that I talked to was telling me like Dante's not able to get off the line of scrimmage even before the pads came on. And now that the pads are on, it's just he's got one route, it's a go route. And with Malik looking the way that he does, with Dante not being able to play special teams, I can't see how number 10 makes this roster. I don't see it, and I remember last year when we interviewed him. I remember last year in all the Madden games, the Covutter touchdown celebrations. I want Dante to work out. But the truth of the matter is he's not even close from a receiving standpoint. And somebody called him earlier, today, shout out to Sir Carter. They're like, oh, he's baby Megatron. I know that he's super, super athletic, but for where the Raiders are at, if I'm an organization, am I going to keep the bottom receiver on my team that can't play special teams? Based on everything you've heard from what Clint Kubiak and this organization has said, I think if you can't play special teams and you can't help out on offense, I just don't necessarily know what the fit is. Maybe he ends up on the practice squad. But I hope that that light bulb goes on, and I hope he turns it around because he does have some insane upside. He is an alien from an athletic standpoint. I just think he needs to grow into his body, and I think he needs to get some confidence. He definitely needs some confidence. Coming up next year, though, on the show, losers at training camp so far. On the defensive side of the football, I also am obviously going to get into some winners on the defensive side of the football as well here for the defense. But if you did not tune into my live show on Tuesday, maybe you don't know that I'm even doing this. I'm going to call it a Megalodon duck race. What is a Megalodon? I'm a dinosaur guy. Shark Week was last week. One of my favorite dinosaurs out there. But if you want to get in, it's a $20 Venmo, and I'm going to do this race at the end of Friday Happy Hour. I had a Raiders Report OG watcher tell me basically like, hey, man, I'm super busy. They don't have time to join all of your live shows, but I still want to be able to participate in the duck races. So because this is a show made for Raider Nation by Raider Nation, I'm putting $100 in the race. And at the time that I'm recording, if you send in a $20 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365, right now you have a shot to win $150. I've given away over $1,000 on this show. I've given away over $4,000 on this program. But if you have nothing to do on Friday, if you have nothing to do in general and you're like, you know what, I'm watching this show right now and I want a chance to win some money, the more people that get in, the more money the winner is going to go. But if you guys want to see something more on the programs, I'm just trying to switch it up to make sure that if you can't make it live, you can still participate in the duck races. Let's try it. If it works out well, we'll keep doing it. If it doesn't, hey, it's all good. It's all good. Let's go now to the Raiders training camp winners on defense, and then that'll be followed by the losers. I'm going to put Quay Walker here at number 5, and I think it's because of the way that they're trying to use Quay. It's very interesting. I thought he was going to be the Mike, the green dot middle linebacker, but they're kind of using him the way that they were kind of using Jermaine Pratt last season, and that was a role that I wish they would have done with Devin White, but neither here nor there. They're lining him up kind of like in this like stand-up outside edge, but they're also letting him play like weak side linebacker. They're using him in a multitude of different ways, and I think what this does is it shows me that they value Quay Walker's run-stopping ability. That's amazing, because when you turn on the tape and you watch Quay, that's what he's good at. He's good at getting downhill. He's good at being a thumper. He's good at being a run stopper. When you ask him to drop back into coverage, sometimes I get a little bit concerned about it. Now, maybe if they let him play fast and like don't think, don't blink, just go out there and react mentality, he could be a little bit better. But I also know, based on some of the tape that I watched on Quay last year, teams picked on him a little bit. Teams picked on him because he was the weakest link in that secondary when dropped back into coverage. Let's go to number 4 here for our Raiders. Training camp winners on defense. I'm going to say Nakobe Dean. And, you know, Nakobe Dean's getting that honor of wearing that green dot. They are making him the Mike linebacker, the middle linebacker. And for the Raiders, you know, their linebacker coach comes from Philadelphia. He's got multiple years of experience with Nakobe. So there should be a new depth chart I made. And essentially, like, I know that they believe in this guy. I am a little bit concerned about some of his injuries past of why, like, Nakobe, because Nakobe is the green dot, it's just so important for him to stay healthy this season, to be able to get the communication in. But I also think it speaks volumes of what they think of him as a player. It speaks volumes of him, of like what they think of him as a person. And I know that there were some concerns. I was concerned during OTAs and a minicamp. But, like, man, oh, man, Nakobe continuously is showing that he is somebody that this team does believe in. And he looks really good out there. Have I heard too much on, like, Nakobe's participation in practice compared to Quay? No, I have not. The biggest reason why he's a training camp winner, they gave him a green dot. That is a major, major pat on the back for a brand new player, newly acquired with all these other free agent signings. I think that that's a big statement there. Let's go to number 3 here. Hezekiah Massis, and the rookie cornerback out of Cal has been really, really turning heads, not only just at Raiders training camp. I've been seeing people talking about this young man all over the place. I think I saw Louis Riddick even mention him today, which made me happy because for those of you that did not see the video that I dropped earlier this week, it was around me being really fired up that Massis and the reports that are coming out of camp are so solid because the number 1 player that I drafted this past year for mocks, Hezekiah Massis out of Cal. I love his tenacity. You're seeing it early on in the field. He is without a doubt competing for this cornerback 2 spot with Jermod McCoy, with Darian Porter. And I know you're going to see McCoy as the one that's featured over there. And I know you're going to see Massis under Eric Stokes, but this is very much so a wide open battle. And I don't have the exact number of snaps at training camp so far, but I would like to believe that Massis has more first-team reps than Jermod McCoy. He might even have more first-team reps than Darian Porter. And I know that Clint Kubiak addressed him by name earlier this offseason. He challenged him. This has been a player that's been doubted his entire career. I spoke with his agent over the weekend, and everything that I'm hearing, all signs are good for Hezekiah Massis. Let's go to number 2 here for our Raiders training camp winners on defense, and it's all about the Tonka Hemingway truck, man. I am on board for what I have seen from Tonka so far. All the reports are that this guy's killing it. Hell, based on the reports, he's our best 3 technique right now. It was on Tuesday's practice. He was working with the one. So on, I think it was one of the defensive line drills, it was Max Crosby had his hand down. It was Adam Butler had his hand down. Tonka Hemingway had his hand down. And then Kwity Paye was kind of like standing up in this like outside linebacker type of role, stand-up dude. But, like, that's a really interesting defensive line. And if that's one of their 3-4 fronts that they're going with, like, seeing the development of Tonka also makes me connect the dots a little bit more of maybe why the Raiders potentially also traded away Tyree Wilson. We were talking about Tyree Wilson on our live show on Tuesday because he was drafted before, oh my gosh, close your ears, Bijan Robinson, Jalen Carter, Darnell Wright, Peter Skoronski, and Jahmyr Gibbs. And obviously, there's been some news around some of those players on Tuesday with some major contract extensions coming in. But Tonka Hemingway's working with the ones. He looks like he's starting to connect the dots. There's a lot of hype around him, and it makes me excited because I was worried about this defensive back room. I'm still worried about this DT room, and I'm not going to try to get overhyped, but when you see the hype and it's rolling in as high and frequent as what it is, it's because Tonka's out there doing some real type shit. But coming in here at number 1, again, it's just like the same Brock Bowers conversation. I kind of feel shitty for putting him at number 1, but Max Crosby has been the best player for Raiders defense at training camp. He has been. The knee looks healthy. He looks extra motivated. He's leading by example. He's saying, I think, all the right things this now off season, like, I'm a Raider to my core. Max is Max, and, like, I know how great he can be. But when you hear and you see all the shit that we had to deal with this entire offseason, I know Max saw it as well. But, like, the reason why I really wanted to make 98 the biggest winner from training camp is because he's 100% healthy. He looks really good, and he is going to be the main anchor of this defense. And they follow him. And with the amount of juice that guy's got, I'm really, really excited for the Condor to see what he's got this season because he does. He looks the best I've ever seen him. You could say it's August. You could say it's this and that. He looks the best I have ever seen Max Crosby, and I have followed Max Crosby closer than I think anybody has in the National Football League or all Raiders content creators. He looks the best he's ever had since I've covered him in 2019. So let's also go to, though, some of these honorable mentions on defense. I think Jeremy Chinn, Taron Johnson need to be noted. Jermod McCoy hasn't had any off days yet. That's a good thing with that knee. Stokes is your number 1 lockdown guy, and Kean Sloan, the UDFA's been getting some snaps with the ones. That's got to be worth noting. But Taron Johnson, Jeremy Chinn, a lot of different mixing parts in there. I thought about putting Isaiah Paul-Amal on this as well since he's been getting some of the number 1 reps, but I'm not going to go that far. Coming up next here, the losers on the defensive side of the football so far, at training camp. And, again, I'm not going to harp on these overly too much. I did want to show you guys, though, something before. And I know I showed you this photo earlier in the program, but it's because I really want to concentrate on what Scott Gill had to say. Hey, Mitch, love the Zeke Massis show. If you would love the same content for some of our other starters and potential starters like Walker, Dean, Burford, Zune. Those guys we want to get to know for our future. Thanks, mate, for making us all smarter Raider fans. Day in and day out. So I saw that comment, Scott, and I did. I loved it. I appreciated it because I want comments like this because I do wonder, what do fans want to watch? What do fans want to see, especially on days where no news happens? Now, we're starting to get closer and closer to the actual NFL season, so more and more news will actually happen. If you did not see the video that Scott is talking about, here's the thumbnail. And it's essentially all the great news that we've been hearing about Hezekiah Massis. basically how much it fires me up, and I talk about why he could be a starter for this team. So if you're watching this video right now, you're probably a real one. You're probably tuned into our live show on Tuesday. So I want to know from all of y'all, which player should I feature next in a video? I want to know. At the end of the day, I am going to be somebody that I'm going to talk about news, I'm going to talk about rumors, I'm going to talk about updates, but the real reason why I do this show, for Raider Nation, made by Raider Nation. So I got to know, which player should I make a video about next? Let me know down in the comments section. Here we go. Raiders, training camp losers. At defensive tackle, the rookie from NC State, I'm going to say Brandon Cleveland. And maybe the reason why I'm bringing up Cleveland is because I haven't heard anything about him. I've asked about the defensive tackle position over and over and over again. I am not getting anything on Brandon Cleveland. I also had a source tell me before, and I made an entire video on it, that Cleveland, despite being drafted in the 7th round, is not a lock to make this roster. So the other reason why, unfortunately, you got to talk about Cleveland being a loser is because Adam Butler has looked good. Jonah Laolu has had a solid training camp. It really sounds like, obviously, Tonka Hemingway's been out there doing his thing. The Raiders traded for Thomas Booker last offseason, and they gave him a brand new deal this year. Not brand new, but $3.5 million. You drafted J.J. Pegues. You signed Benito Jones May 13th. So it's like, where exactly does Brandon Cleveland kind of fit into this equation? And I've heard, like I said, I've heard good things about J.J. I've heard good things about Tonka. Like, I legitimately mean this. I have not heard anything about Brandon Cleveland. Haven't heard anything. So I think if we're not hearing anything, that's some cause for concern. Let's go to number 2 here for training camp losers on defense. I'm going to go linebacker Tommy Eichenberg, and haven't heard too much about Tommy either, though. The one thing that was sent to me was this happened a few days ago. I don't remember the exact day. I think it might have been on Monday, but I was told that Tommy Eichenberg got into a fight, ripped off somebody's helmet, and there was some frustration there. And I wouldn't be shocked if Eichenberg maybe is a little bit frustrated with his current role on this team. He's had a bunch of different regimes come and go, but this is a linebacker room that's got Quay Walker and Nakobe Dean. And then Cody Lindenberg's been that 3. Shagun Alobi continues to look really good in special teams. So it's like, where exactly does Eichenberg fit into this equation here? I'm just going to list him as a loser because the only note that I have about him is that he got into a fight for getting frustrated. When I say fight, it's a very loose term. It's helmet got ripped off. There were some words that were exchanged. Probably wasn't a real fight, but if that's the only thing that I got, that's concerning to me. So please, somebody get me some updates on Tommy Eichenberg. And then to round out this show, I already said it earlier on the live, but I need people to pump the brakes. And I'm even saying that despite putting him as the biggest loser from training camp so far, 2nd-round pick out of Arizona, Traden Stukes. Stukes is still yet to take any reps with the first team. Stukes is still yet to take any first reps over Isaiah Paul-Mal at free safety. Isaiah Paul-Mal last year in the NFL was actually the worst free safety in the National Football League. He was dead last in coverage with a 30.8 overall grade. I believe it was 88 out of 88 qualifying safeties. Isaiah Paul-Mal was last, and yet he's still getting reps over Traden. Based on the reports, Stukes has been struggling, but it's also because they're throwing a lot at him. The Raiders are asking him to play nickel. The Raiders are asking him to play free safety, and I think it's just a little bit of information overload right now for Traden. But Stukes also showed at Arizona that he can play in a bunch of different looks. He can do a bunch of different things. He played 1,174 snaps at Arizona in the nickel. I believe in Traden. But if I have to do this show the way that I'm doing it, I'm not going to pick favorites. And if you've been following along with the reports around Stukes, they haven't been all that great. And this is a player that the Raiders need to start. The Raiders need Traden Stukes to be the starting free safety. If he can't do it, that's going to be really disappointing to me, because the only reason why you drafted him in round 2 at 38 and you passed on some of the defensive tackle that you did for a starter at free safety, he better start at free safety, and I mean that. So before I hop on out of here, if you are tuning into our live show, shout out to you. If you missed our live show, well, I'm doing this for all the real ones out there. I had an OG watcher tell me, hey, man, I've been super busy. I can't join the duck races, but I would still love to join. So let's try it out. I am live right now on Tuesday, and I will be live again on Friday. I already added the $100. It's a $20 Venmo to get in at Mitchell Renz 365 right now. Based on the timing, I'm looking, you'd have a shot to win. Actually, it's $170. $170. I think that this is going to get much, much higher. I think it's going to get well over 500, and the more people that get in, the more money we can give away. I'll see you guys Friday for happy hour to finish off that duck race, but also I am going to be live for Thursday for the NFL Hall of Fame game. Kenny Pickett, Carson Beck, pull up, tune in. Football's back, baby. Can't wait to see you there. What up, Palp? Mitch, thank you so much for the cameo. I don't know which cameo that you're referring to is. If anybody ever wants to add me on Cameo, I am at Mitchell Renz 365. Oh, is it the one? It's probably the one I filmed this morning. Yeah, I filmed a cameo this morning. Girlfriend thinks it's awesome and crazy. The Community Raider Nation has best anniversary gift I could have gotten. Yeah, I don't want to out you. I don't remember. I don't know if I'm even allowed to say first name, last names when it comes to cameo, but basically it was like, talk shit about Geno Smith, give my boyfriend a complete rundown of like everything that happened at training camp. But like, dude, when I get significant others asking me to like do birthday gifts, I don't know. I've done a lot of interesting cameos in my time. One that, my favorite are like, can I get a bang? I will say this. If you ask for a bang on Cameo, the only way you're getting a bang is if it's 100. That's just the way that it's got to be. But, pal, I'm glad you liked it. I really enjoy filming them. And, when I film them, I just chop it up. I talk normal. I don't even remember how long it was. That'd be, like 4-ish minutes probably? I did it this morning, but it was cool. Like, it made me smile. Like, the fact that your significant other thought that you wanted me, that you wanted me for a birthday gift, super humbling. Super, super, super humbling, man. But, pal, shout out to you, man, or best anniversary gift, sorry. An anniversary gift. Wild. Preston, does Vita Vea put us over a 10-plus win game this season? Maybe. I don't know. And that's the hard part of the equation. I definitely think he helps us achieve that goal much better. I don't think fans should look at the Vita Vea thing as, the only reason why the Raiders should sign Vita Vea is to win now, to win a Super Bowl. That's not actually the way that I look at it. I look at the Vita Vea signing as being insurance. It's so important for Clint Kubiak and John Spytek, for all the players that they sign in free agency, for them to work, on defense. It's very, very important. And if you have a bad defensive front, it makes everybody else's jobs a little bit harder. So, to me, I think the addition of Vea is, again, how much money did you invest this offseason? You invested 3 years, $30 million in Eric Stokes, 3 for $48 in Kwity Paye, 3 for $36 in Nakobe Dean. You invested, there's so much more. I actually feel shitty that I can't remember. Malcolm Kuntz, 1 for 11. To make sure all those contracts work, if you can go get a guy like Vita Vea, I'm a lot more confident that those contracts do end up working out. Sherlock Lopez, your thoughts on Texas's new... Texas is crazy for that. So, again, he doesn't have the mic right now. Prayers to Michael. I'm glad that you said that, Sherlock. I did see the new laws around it. Again, for me, I'm somebody where I'm going to do what I know is legal. I'm going to do what I know I'm allowed to do. But it's crazy to me that you can get in, I think it's 2 years in jail, I think is what it is now. It's wild, man. I don't know all the laws, but I know it's changed here over the past little bit, but well, I think there was some ban that was put in place the 31st. Again, it's basically in Texas, it's okay for you to carry around an automatic rifle, but if you got a gummy on you, look the F out. That's an eye roll to me, but neither here nor there. Sir Carter, I sent on Instagram my address. See, here's the problem, though. If your name isn't that, it's not easy for me to find. To be honest with you, pretty often. Is your first name Fred? Is your first name Fred? And tell me the football player of the video you most recently sent me. How about that? We'll see if we can prove it. Last 4 digits of your social, and I would love your credit card information as well. Crush Dog, what up, man? What up, fam? Locals! If you know, you know. saveawarrior.org for veterans and first responders struggling. Shout out to my guy, LA Crash Dog. I can't wait to see you next week, dude. Can't wait to see you next week. Can't wait to introduce you to the wife. Can't wait to meet some of your fam as well. And for any Raider fans out there, if you plan on going to the Raiders practice August 11th, I'll be there. I'll be there with my wife. It's going to be really awesome. I told her that the practice starts an hour early. So if you hear me say on Friday happy hour, Raiders practice starts an hour before it actually does, it's because I'm going to show my wife that. I've already told her that it starts an hour before because I'm not going to be late. So if any of y'all out there are going to be at practice, please, please, please. I will be right in front of the Raider Image Store an hour before the practice starts. Also, Gunny, obviously I would love you to be around. I think anybody that watches this show, from what I understand, the seats are first come, first serve. So, if anybody wants to sit with me, sit near me, I'm going to walk in. I'm probably going to try to find a halfway decent spot. I'll get secure, and then as soon as I sit down, my wife's probably going to ask for a beer or something. That's typically how it goes. And then we'll be hanging out. We'll be watching practice. But if anybody wants to watch the August 11th practice with me, I'm going to be meeting up an hour beforehand. We could probably all walk in together as a group, and then we'll sit down together as a group. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, man. I'm really looking forward to it. Really. I can't wait because it's going to be the first time that I think Alex gets to see me with Raider Nation. And there's been a few times here down in Dallas where Raider fans have come up to me and they're like most recently, Alex and I, we were just watching the Odyssey and a fan, he was like, oh, I watched the show. And she's always very much so blown away. And, for her, she loves all y'all because how much love you guys always show to me. And she knows how much I obviously, care about you guys. So if you see my wife, please be kind, be nice. She's super excited though to meet everyone. And maybe we'll get her to chug a beer though. No shots of tequila. If you offer her a shot of tequila, she'll probably take it. So PG 2869, I'm looking at you. No shots of tequila for my wife until after practice. After practice, then shit. It's Tuesday. On a Tuesday, I'm down to get down. I believe we are all caught up on all of the super chats from today's show. So we've been live now for 2.5 hours about? We've been live now for about 2.5 hours. I went live a little bit earlier today. If you saw the deal that I gave, then it was hit and it was reached. Shout out to you for doing that. Nav, man, so tequila for Alex. Got it, Nav. After, no doubt about it. Yeah, I thought our live show just ended for a second. Bro, it literally ended and then it came back. You guys are still here, right? Jansen said we missed his. Let's see if we can go back. Okay. Cool. Sorry, Jansen. Bro, I don't know what happened. It disconnected, but we're back now. Random NFL news. Former Chiefs running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire has a tryout with the Lions today. Maybe some Jahmyr Gibbs issues. I don't know. Jansen, if Friday is Vea news, we know something already. If Friday is Vea news, we know something already. Again, me saying that Friday is a day to keep in mind is not saying that we know something already. It's, from my understanding, based on my sources here at Chat Sports, Friday is a big day for Vita, his agents, his team, and Tampa Bay. I am under the impression that, I don't want to call it a deadline because deadlines do make deals, but I do think because it's been 2 weeks of training camp practice, they're about to get into the preseason. From our understanding, that Friday is an important day for Vita Vea. Maybe that means he gets a contract extension that day. But I would say if he doesn't get a contract extension after that Friday, really, really start to watch to see if they start fining him. Because if they start fining him $50,000 a practice, not that $50,000 really means anything to Vita Vea. I mean, sure, it's money. Money is money. But, it's going to be more of a, man, you're really going to do that type of shit to me? I've been somebody that's been a part of this organization for a super long time. And, I've won Super Bowls here. It might not go well for Tampa Bay. It might not go the way that Vita is going to happen. But Friday is an important day, from my understanding, for Vita Vea, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And if it's an important day for Vita, you already know it's going to be an important day for me. Again, when I say it's an important day, it's not really anything Raiders related. It's Tampa Bay related that could turn into some Raiders related stuff. Does that make sense? I hope so. But again, I'm not saying a trade's going to happen on Friday. I'm not saying the Raiders are going to do anything for Vita. It's just we were under the impression that Friday was an important day for Vita and his team based on our sources. Mr. Mudd, what up, dude? Crazy what if. Oh, boy. What if AOC plus a defensive tackle in the Vita Vea trade plus a 27... Is that what that is? Draft pick? Like, what are you giving, though? Like, again, for Aiden O'Connell's got... I shouldn't say he's got zero value in Tampa Bay. If they got a contract issue with Baker Mayfield right now, but, like, I don't think that there's any value here. I don't know. Like, if you want a crazy trade, Aiden O'Connell, let's throw in J.J. Pegues or Brandon Cleveland, our 7th rounder, and then... I don't know, a 4th-round pick? Again, Aiden O'Connell's not moving the needle. He's not. Like, I saw somebody the other day was like, oh, you're going to 2nd-round pick for Aiden O'Connell. If you think Aiden O'Connell's worth a 2nd-round pick, I mean, Fernando Mendoza's worth 10. Actually, Fernando Mendoza is worth 10 before AOC's worth 2. That's the fact. Mr. Mudd, it's definitely a crazy idea, but you know what? I respect crazy trade ideas. I think that it's kind of a fun thing to be able to talk about. I know, our internet's lagging really bad. See, I can tell that it's bad. All right, y'all. I'm worried that, yep, the Wi-Fi, it's getting bad. All right, fam. I got to hop on out of here. I'm worried that this stream is just going to randomly crash. It's already crashed 2 or 3, 4 times on this live show today. So I'm going to be back on Thursday for all of y'all that do not know, and it's going to be for the Hall of Fame game. Cardinals up against the Panthers, and then Friday happy hour is going to be crazy. It might even be a little bit more crazy with some Vita Vea news that could potentially happen. For all of y'all out there, shout out to each and every one of y'all for tuning up here on the Raiders Report. I rock with each and every one of y'all, and I will see you guys back here live on the show Thursday for the Hall of Fame game. Football's back, baby. We freaking made it.